Yo, 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 what is going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. It's a good week. It feels really good right now. Can't believe we're in the NFC Championship game. I'm actually not surprised because I knew the talent we had on this team, man. It was all about the coaching. It was all about Jalen Hurts getting healthy. It was a lot of things that we kept thinking about the whole entire week. But it's been, we still have a little bit way to go this week. But I'm ready. I'm ready to go. This is it, guys. You win this game Sunday, you're in the Super Bowl. I mean, it's crazy to even think about at this point. And honestly, the 49ers, really good team. Their defensive line, their defense, number one in the league. I honestly think we match up really well. It's going to be interesting to see what Brock Purdy can do in this game, with pressure on him, and hopefully Gannon dials up a lot of it in this game. Obviously a lot of coaching rumors going around with Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon, and the new news that came out the other day with the Philadelphia Eagles having a lot of interest that are aggressively going to pursue Vic Fangio. If Gannon does leave, and most likely he probably will. And I'd be shocked if they didn't go after him. He would obviously be my first defensive coordinator going to next year. But it sounds like the Texans have really serious interest in Gannon. It sounds like the Panthers might be the destination spot for Shane Steichen as of right now. So these coaches could be gone after this season, and obviously a new coaching staff has to come in. I don't think a new coaching staff is going to affect this offense too much when it comes to offensive coordinator. I think the number one thing they kind of got to do is keep Brian Johnson in the building. I think him and Hurts really have, Brian Johnson has known Hurts all his life, even since he was in college, and a lot, obviously earlier than that. And I think you have to keep those two together regardless. But we have an NFC Championship game this Sunday. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait for everybody to watch this and see what happens, man. Like I'm saying, I'm not saying this game's a cakewalk or nothing, but when I watched the Dallas Cowboy game versus the 49ers, a lot of things really poked my brain a little bit when it comes to, obviously, most of Brock Purdy's targets were middle of the field. Okay, most of them were. Looks like Christian McCaffrey's dealing with a calf injury right now. See if he's going to be 100% going into this game. Eagles are healthy right now. I mean, Lane Johnson obviously needing surgery, but played 68 snaps, which I thought was great. Of the whole entire, pretty much played the whole entire game. So he had no issue with that. The Avonte Maddox situation right now is Avonte Maddox going to be back? I don't know. He was not in a walking boot anymore from what someone said when he was at the game. I kind of already knew that because I think last Friday or Thursday he did practice for one day. He warmed up with the team with his helmet on and everything. So I think that looks pretty good, pretty promising. We'll see. I think it comes down to these two quarterbacks, honestly. I really think it comes down to these two quarterbacks. I want to see what the 49ers could do against Jalen Hurts, and his legs. I want to see what they could do against him. I don't know. Seems like that shoulder's not a big deal at all. Feels like everything was dumbed down. Hurts' injury was dumbed down. This offensive and defensive play calling was dumbed down the last few weeks of the regular season. So it's a lot of emotions going to this game this weekend. The Eagles lose, yeah, I'm going to be pissed. They should be in the big game. They should beat the 49ers. I think they have enough on tape. I'm not saying Brock Purdy's a bad quarterback, but I think you have two different quarterbacks. Brock Purdy has a lot of weapons around him. I think he's the weak link of that offense. I think if you get pressure on him without it, I think the best thing about Brock Purdy I've seen so far is that he makes quick decisions. His accuracy is really good, but when he gets pressure on him, it's a whole nother story. Can players actually bail him out when he has pressure on him? I don't think of much of him as a scrambler. That game against the Cowboys was probably the best defense they faced all year, because I looked at their schedule like a week ago, and there was no premier defense they really faced their whole entire year. And that was the first game against the Cowboys they really faced a good defense. And it was all about which offense was going to produce more. I think the Eagles can get sacks on Brock Purdy. I think they could rattle him. I think they could do what they did to Daniel Jones. Even though, Daniel Jones, I think, obviously is better than Brock Purdy in a lot of ways, because I think, Daniel Jones has less weapons around him. Brock Purdy has everything around him. And Didn't really impress me too much, but I'm not going to give him disrespect. I'm not going to say he's god awful, but he's coming into Philly. He's coming into Philadelphia, and it should be a big one. So at least I hi to everybody in the chat. As of right now, appreciate everybody coming to the late night stream. How about that? We got Myron, we got JP Gunny, we got Logan, Bleeding Kelly Green, we got Zy T, we got Go Birds, we got Dagger. What's going on, dude? We got Maniac Matt, we got the Champ. Man, I'm telling you. We got CJ Smith, Chris Navarro. Chris says, do you guys think Hurts runs more this game? I don't know. Played it like run designs, all at 100%. And obviously, if there's pressure on him, you got a good defensive line, you're going to be facing. So, Nick Bosa is probably going to be lined up on either Mulata or Lane Johnson's side if they're going to switch him over. Don't know what the game plan is there. But, I think he's going to escape a lot. I think he's going to bail his offense out a little bit. I think A.J. Brown is going to be heavily involved in this game. Gibson's a really good cornerback, plays in the box, plays outside, moves around pretty good. You know what I mean? So they have guys that can move in and out of the box. Fred Warner is fantastic. I mean, literally, I think Fred Warner was like the MVP of that game against the Cowboys because any other linebacker that was on CeeDee Lamb just doing a go route upfield and he covered that, any other linebacker that was in that situation wouldn't have got that. CeeDee Lamb would have scored a touchdown on that pass, on that catch. It would have been a touchdown. So it's kind of interesting. Fred Warner's good. Really, really good. Kinlaw's really good. They got good players, man. This is it, man. You're expecting a team that has great players. You know what I mean? So I get it. The last time the Eagles faced, and I understand we're talking years ago, we're talking 2017, the Eagles went into the NFC Championship game facing the number one defense, and look what they did to them. You know what I mean? Jalen Hurts is a whole different story when it comes down to what he could do from the read option aspect of things, getting these running backs involved, which I do think Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, and Kenneth Gainwell will be involved in this game. I think they're going to use all three of these running backs to obviously keeping different skill set of running backs, keep the defense on their toes for not knowing what's going to happen here. So I think Jalen Hurts is going to run a lot in this game, 100%. Greg Miller said, what up? What's going on, Greg? JB says, anyone hear about 20-yard Johnson car getting stolen? He blamed Philly, man. What? I don't know what happened, man. I didn't hear any words or any quotes about it. What's going on? Kenneth says, every day what goes by, I feel a little more confident that we will win. Evelyn says, do you think Miles would take a hometown discount to stay with the Birds? I really would like him to stay. I think the one, if somebody's going to walk into free agency, the one player that I'm going to be very upset about is going to be Miles Sanders. It's going to be horrible. I mean, this is what Miles Sanders said a few days. It was like, last week he said this. He says he's praying, like he said he loves Howie, and hopefully he loves him back, and hopefully could re-sign him. And that is the rumor right now. We feel so this is the game where Brock Purdy breaks. It might be, man. It might be. Okay, so this is going to be a fun game. The only need to protect Hurts, Nick Bosa is going to be an issue. Yeah, we'll see what happens, man, because I feel like he will switch sides. I feel like they'll move him around a little bit. I think he'll be on Lane Johnson's side before anything, and Mulata as well. So we'll find out. We'll see what happens. We got Spider Niner. What's going on, dude? He says, I honestly think you guys have a better QB. Hey, I look, Brock Purdy's just a baby face right now, and I'm not taking anything away from him what he did this year, but this is a big stage. You're going into Philadelphia. This team, as this team reaches a higher ceiling, this team gets better. That's what it is with Philadelphia, with the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what happens with this team, and like I said, this is anybody's game, but I think when it comes to determination, and I feel like with the quarterback situations on both teams and what both defenses could do, I have the Eagles over the 49ers. I'm not being biased at all. I just think that's where we're headed. So, but we'll see. Kay says also defense needs to stop the 49ers offense. Thomas says A.J. Brown is going to go off this Sunday. I hope so, man. I hope so. Myron says Brock Purdy can't handle a good defense. Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. Like, look, this is a guy, last pick of the draft, has a lot on his shoulders right now. I saw him in that Cowboys game when the Cowboys were just literally pressuring him, couldn't even get a throw off. It really showed he was getting rattled a little bit. He looked like, he couldn't contain himself in that game. Obviously the end of the third, middle to the end of the third quarter, that offense started to get going with the run game a little bit with Christian McCaffrey. They started getting Elijah Moore, more touches. They got the pass game going. They got a lot of the quick slants involved with obviously Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and some of these other guys. So, because, hey, Joey, who's your coach of the year? Coach of the year is probably Doug Peterson, man. Probably. I mean, you turn the Jaguars over in one season like that. I think he's definitely a coach of the year. Yo, Bang, what's going on, dude? Ray says, I see the Birds winning by double digits. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't see a game happening in double digits. I don't see that. I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to depend on both defenses. The stops that they're going to make. Obviously, the Eagles got to play defense as well, so it's a lot to defend with our secondary too. The Niners have a lot of weapons. We all know that. Gustavo says, "Did you hear what Chris Sipp said after the game that he would prefer Daniel Jones over Hurts in the pocket passer?" Yeah, I heard that. It was a guy. The guy just has a huge ego right now, and he's just a hater, dude. That's just what it is. Thomas Rodriguez says, we put pressure on Brock and get him to feel uncomfortable. We should come with the win. Yeah, I mean, look, I think Brock Purdy is the weak link to that team. I honestly think that's the answer right there. G. Lewis says, I like y'all overlooking us. We're going to be quiet and take over Niners. Let me tell you something. The Niners fans have not been quiet. That's number one. They were really cocky going to that Cowboys game, and I got to say, I didn't like what I saw from both teams. Okay. Obviously, you face Dallas's offense. Dallas in the playoffs last year against the Niners choked. They choked this year. Couldn't have the time management. Didn't have time management. Didn't have anything. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Philadelphia. That's just what it is right now. I mean, they're only 2.5 favorites right now. So, you know what I mean? Niners are far. I mean, I had Niners literally since the start of the playoffs, literally in my comment section, in the live streams, really keep running their mouths. They're going to find out. Greg Ward says Fred Warner's probably going to go against Dallas Goedert. Probably. That'd be a very good matchup. Very good matchup. Blink Calgary, I was looking at the Niners schedule too, Joe, and I think this will be the best group of running backs they will face. Could be. Yeah, dude, I totally agree. Fred Warner is fast. Jacob says, yo, good luck for championship, Joey. I'm going to watch the Clippers-Lakers game. Joe says, be honest, if Josh Jacobs wants to play for us, would you take him over Miles knowing what he's capable of doing? No, I would take Miles Sanders back. If you're going to sign a free agent running back to more money, I'm just bringing Miles Sanders back. Why would I want to take Miles Sanders up? I think he's fine. Plus, you'll have Kenneth Gainwell still here. Boston Scott's a free agent. If he comes back, I don't know if Boston Scott wants to leave Philadelphia. He actually went off waivers. Boston Scott actually went off waivers, was never claimed. Eagles got him back for cheap. It was like only $1 million. It wasn't really much. JB says 49ers are better at run blocking than New York. The Eagles may have trouble stopping early, then they fall behind. Yeah, we'll see what happens with McCaffrey, man. McCaffrey's dealing with a calf injury right now. Elijah Mitchell's still a really good running back. It just depends on the health of McCaffrey. And I think the Eagles have the defensive line to get it done. I think we're fine. I think the Eagles have not only the starters, but the depth behind it. The middle with Ndamukong Suh, Linval Joseph, Jordan Davis. A lot of meat in the middle of that sandwich right there. So it doesn't bother me that much. The run game doesn't really bother me. How they move the running backs around, putting Deebo in the backfield, moving McCaffrey as a wide receiver. Yeah, they do different things like that, which spreads out the defense a little bit, makes more man-on-man opportunities. But I think the Eagles are up for the challenge, man. Brad said the over-under on the number of times Joey Vision won. All right, I don't know who that guy is. That guy is that guy comes in every stream and I don't know what he does. Not for TV Media says the 49ers never faced a defense like ours. We're going to give that rookie hell. Kenny says, but this is going to be a fun game. Spy9 says, do you guys think you could pick him off because Purdy threw a couple of bad passes that Cowboys couldn't pick off? I don't know. I hope so. I mean, look, I would, I'm hoping we get some turnovers towards our way. I hope so. We had one last week, but just depends, man. Just depends. Bob said if we compare position for position, the Eagles win easily. Greg says Chris Sims smoking the cactus with Aaron Rodgers. Jimmy says, where are those Cowboys fans at tonight? They are nowhere to be found. Look, a lot of Cowboy fans are feeling sorry for themselves. They're fighting with their own fan base right now. I mean, literally the night of that game when they lost, like the big thing on Twitter, it was trending in the United States. Trending in the United States. Top trend in the United States was trade Dak that night, which is kind of crazy. Cash says, Joey, I got to be honest. Philly fans are cocky too. No, dude. Well, dude, both fan bases are cocky and they have every right to be. Like, look at our teams. Look how much talent we have. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with being cocky or feeling very good about your team. Like, you know what I mean? Like, any team in this position should feel very confident. Both teams are. I'm not expecting there's a competition of who's more cocky. I don't think the Eagles fans are less cocky than the 49ers. I think they're at the same level regardless. You know what I mean? We got Chris Scott's Gann play press man. Bang Bang Gang says the one thing that scores me in the game is stopping the run. Debo is tough dude to bring down. That is true. That is true. It's going to be a tough one out there. Savvy says Purdy is in for a rough night in Philly. The crowd is going to be insane. Yeah, I mean, being home, I think, look, when it comes down to if 49er fans want to hear this, being home is probably the number one thing. Like, I don't know how this team would have done on the road if they didn't have the number one seed. We wouldn't have Lane Johnson that first game, but I got to say, this is probably the best situation that we've been in. Having first seed, having the NFC go through Philadelphia is definitely a huge advantage. Yo, Joel Mag, what's going on, dude? Says Joey, I think this game, the game Jalen used his arm more than secondary is kind of weak. And I'm not saying the secondary is weak for the Niners. The other corner that they have has stepped up, since I forgot what his name ended up getting hurt. Gibson's good. The other corner has done really well. I forgot his name off the top of my head. But he's playing really well, man. He's stepped in really well. But I definitely think there's a matchup issue with that cornerback, and could take advantage of that. So you're probably right at some aspects. Yo, Warpipe, what's going on, dude? Greg says, don't have no problem bringing back Miles Sanders. Hell no. Freddie, what's going on? He says, I love that this team keeps proving people wrong. I feel like the higher they go, the better they play. The more pressure they have. Lenore, thank you, Spider Niner. Yeah, Lenore. I forgot his name. I had it in my head before the stream started. I totally forgot. Karen Edwards says, Alan Brown, imagine spending your free time. Yeah, he's a hater, bro. He's a hater. Chris says, football is one of the trenches. We have a decent advantage there. QB play, making smart decisions, not turning the ball over. Advantages, Eagles, home field advantage, Eagles. This says, me personally, I just try to be humble. Dude, with me, I try to be humble and I try to be as unbiased as I possibly can. I'm very unbiased when I talk football, regardless. Like, I don't crap talk every single time I make a video. I don't do it. But other than that, just be as unbiased as possible and be realistic with it. Ben Berger says the link needs to be so loud and Purdy can't hear a thing. And it will. Yeah, it is Lenore, if that's how you say his name. Will Phil says, thanks for changing the Gannon narrative since the defense held a meeting mid-season last year. He has been consistently good. Yeah, look, like I might not be a big fan of the philosophy, but if Gannon plays so well this game, they win this game, they go to the Super Bowl and play well, they win it all. It's going to be tough to let Gannon go. And I understand I made a video about it, and it's a tough decision, man. It's tough for him not to have a head coaching job at that point. JB says, just curious, could both Gannon and Steichen turn down head coaching jobs to stay? Not sure why they would, but why leave a successful situation? Because it's because of money. As a head coach, you're getting more money. It's a higher standard. And that's really, not every coordinator wants to be a head coach, but I would think that most of them want to be a head coach. Of course they could stay. The Eagles could block interviews if they want. They could block those interviews if they really want to, but the Eagles aren't going to do that to those guys. But the Eagles are going to do what they got to do. They're not going to stop them from doing whatever, but they can always change their minds and stay in Philadelphia, of course. I think they're very close to Nick. Nick has protected both of these coordinators and these coaches. MJ Horn, what's going on, dude? That's what I'm saying, man. Just stay humble and be, that's it. Freddie says, do we have an updates on Maddox? He would help us so much this game playing in the slot. There is no update on Avonte Maddox yet. All Nick said was we're just going to see what he could do this week. Other than that, he practiced last Friday. Well, I think it was Thursday or Friday. I think it was last Friday. He did practice in warmups. I don't know how much he did in those practices, but I don't think he did much. So Let's see, it's a championship season. Go Birds. Spire Niner says, do you guys have a loud? Oh, yeah. Yes. It's one of the it's definitely in my opinion, not to be biased, but I think it's the best. I think when it comes to even playoff football in general, at the Link, it's electrifying. It is probably one of the loudest stadiums. I don't even take KC Stadium over that stadium. I swear, like the Link. I went to a Monday night game against the Vikings this past year, and it sounded like a playoff game. That's how crazy it was. It was insane. You'll see what it's all about. Cash says, yeah, I don't understand why all fan base got to be so mean when they're not even a beef. Just like be humble. Yeah, but Joey, you got my. I appreciate Cash very much, dude. Dude, I'm very realistic. I'm not. And the thing is, like, I feel like if I like just talk crap, it just jinxes myself. I don't want to give this team any bad juju going into this week. So, Eagles fans, whatever you did last week to watch the Giants game, playoffs wise, when you had some, I don't know what you do on game day, but do the same thing you did on game day last week. Do the same thing. Jake said, what's the best lot to tailgate in? I forgot which lot. P, I think. I forgot. That's where like E-Rock and the rest of them guys are, to be honest. I forgot what lot that is. Black Alex said, I love the profile picture, by the way. What's good, Joey? Eagles all day. I'm ready to go. Tex, what's going on, dude? JB says they have to throw another touchdown pass to another lineman again. We got Burgell tells us beginning of the year, I picked the Eagles and Washington NFC Championship. No matter if folks are calling for close game. Eagles 42, San Fran 12 over at halftime. See, I'm not that confident to be 42-12. That's a lot. Especially the way Gannon is going to, if he's in a big lead, the Eagles are going to waste a lot of time off the clock with that run game using all three of those running backs. They wasted 35 minutes of clock on the Giants. 35 minutes in the second half. I mean, of the whole game. But they only held Saquon Barkley to 7 yards in the first half. It's just nuts. Julian said the offense is not good. Will the defense show up? Number one, I think the offense is going to be fine. Number two, the defense will show up. They will. We're going to see how it goes, though. Essential Vibe says we may not be able to, we may not be the loudest, but you're going to feel us harder than anywhere else. It's true. Yo, Twan, what's going on, dude? I'm doing good, man. Hope you're having a good day. City Felix says Eagles Niners will win Super Bowl. They are more rounded. Greg says Jordan Davis and Robert Quinn show up big time. Let's go, guys. This is your time. Jalen, JJ, Devontae, and Jordan Davis. Let's forget it, guys. Sue and Linval. I'm ready to go. Quinn was only used in pass coverage last game. I was wondering because when you're streaming the game live, play-by-play reactions, I can't see what's going on. They actually put Robert Quinn in pass coverage. they actually did it. He had a really good last game against the Giants for his first game back, getting some pressures, but he actually, it actually was a problem. They actually put him in pass coverage, and it worked. And it worked really well. Freya Levis says, thought about bringing up Anthony Harris from the practice squad and not using him last week. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just for precaution if they needed him. So I thought they brought him up, but they didn't use him. So I think it's just for insurance purposes, just for injury. Because look, I think the good thing about this Eagles defense is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. They can move him around the field if they need to move him around. They can put him in the nickel. They can put him at safety. Depending on the matchups, Gannon making his adjustments. I think he's one of our most important players. And obviously, other than Jalen Hurts' contract, I think he's one of the first guys that needs to get signed regardless. So it's definitely truth. Mr. National says, Joey, it's Brandon Graham revenge game 2. He tore his Achilles against the 49ers. Dude, that's insane. That's actually insane. I didn't even think about that. Never thought about that. Yo, John Jones, what's going on? Yo, Rylan says, had to stop to support my boy. Can't believe our boys are in the NFC Conference Championship. So blessed, dude. I got to say, for Niners fans and Eagles fans, especially Eagles fans right now, I'm still I always knew this team could make it this far, but it was all up to the coaching. That's really all I was complaining about for the last few weeks was coaching. Can the coaching get it done? And it looked like the Eagles held back a lot of different plays, or they did something there because I don't know what they were doing. And the shoulder seems fine with Jalen Hurts. Fan of the Batman says, what's Eagles' defensive game plan for Sunday? How to stop 49ers? Oh, I think getting pressure on Purdy is definitely one, but to play zone, it's going to be tough. You got a lot of weapons there with George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. I mean, you got a lot of weapons. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, they could put in the backfield. They could move as wide receivers. They could do whatever they want with those guys. It's a lot that Gannon has to do, but I think that Dallas game is a nice blueprint. I think watching how Dallas kind of defended against them is really going to show what the Eagles could do next Sunday. So I think the game plan's going to be good, man. Chris says, San Fran's a great team, so are we. It'll be a great game. I give Purdy a lot of respect. Yeah, 100%. I'm not crapping on Purdy at all. Purdy is he's got poise. Purdy doesn't give up. He makes really good, quick decisions. His accuracy's really good. But with pressure on him, it's questionable what he could do on the field for that offense. If they get pressure on him, it's like that team can't get involved offensively with what they have. So if you think Dallas, this team had 70 sacks this year. This team has 4 players on the defensive line. For you Niner fans that don't know, Eagles have 4 defensive linemen with double-digit sacks this year. Okay, and that's for a reason, because they know how to bring the pressure. So it's going to be interesting. John says, that's right. That was last year. BG. Yeah, that's nuts. Bangberg says, nah, this game is going to be a close. The Niners aren't a slouch. Greg says, can Gainwell turn it up? Bone Wallace says, Joey, you're the GOAT. Let's go Eagles. Appreciate it, Bone. Lucas says, please, birds, go to the big dance. John says, putting the Kobe Dean in games. Yeah, I don't think that's happening anymore until next year, unless someone gets injured. Ashley Rivas says, as long as Jalen Hurts' shoulder is 100%, we should have no problem. As long as Lane Johnson healthy, we're good. Yeah, I think we're fine. I think we're going to be fine. Look, before that game against the Giants, the woman, the commentator, she actually asked Jalen Hurts, like, is your shoulder close to 100%? And Jalen Hurts said to her before the Giants game, that day, he said that his shoulder was far from 100%. And I started laughing. I started to laugh. So Joe Smith said, Jordan Davis hasn't impressed me lately. Not sure if you saw the play. It was right next to Daniel Jones, got knocked to the ground, then back up and jogged to the rest of the play. He needs more time. He first round pick. He needs to really show up next year. He needs to condition. He needs to do a lot more next year. I want him to be, I'm not trying to turn him into an Aaron Donald, because I don't think he's ever going to be that. He will be a run stuffer in his career, but he needs to pass rush a little bit. He's got to get better. He's just got to lose more weight. He's got to condition a little bit more. It's a rookie year. You know what I mean? He's got a lot of good players around him, which will definitely help. I saw him get thrown around. I saw him get thrown to the ground a few times. Saw him get dismantled a few times. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Thomas Rodriguez says, do you believe games are fixed? If so, do you have to pay attention to the refs? Apparently his refs on Sunday are pretty dangerous. But if the Eagles play perfect, the Eagles had 1 or 2 penalties in the game. One was a false start. I forgot what the other penalty was against the Giants. Probably nothing serious, but I thought when it came down to penalties, if they play good football, you're not going to worry about penalties like that, Joe Smith, just expecting more from him. Martin says, who do you think shadows Kittle? He has killed us in the past. I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, I don't know if Kaiser White or Edwards can cover a tight end like that. If I'm worried about any player offensively, it's probably George Kittle, because they love hitting middle of the field. Most of their targets came to the middle of the field against the Cowboys. Okay, that's why they moved Micah Parsons from edge rusher to middle linebacker, because they were running really well on them middle of the third quarter, and they were getting that passing game going as well. So that's why they moved him back to middle. They moved him back to middle linebacker because they were doing way too much damage on those quick slants. But yeah, when it comes to our tight ends, guys, like, I am not a fan of them coverage-wise for George Kittle. It's not good. But if the pass rush gets there, guys, he's not going to get those. Brock Purdy will not get those passes off. That's just the truth. Fan of the Batman says, any Maddox updates? Nothing. It's too early in the week, guys. It's way too early in the week to have any type of Maddox update yet. But we're heading in the right direction with him. Look, if he plays, great. If not, whatever. I'm good with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson at nickel. Reed Blankenship's played really well. Really, Reed Blankenship had 2 bad coverages in that Giants game, and then he just tore it up after that. Thought he played really good. We got 250 in the chat right now, guys. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, we're going to do a live play-by-play reaction of the game this weekend. So definitely come by, say hi, do what you got to do. But definitely subscribe to the channel if you guys have it. Like the stream if you guys have it. Check the pinned comment for memberships for the extra content and support on the new setup and other videos I'll be making as well. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining me on a late night tonight. And usually when I say I'm not going to go for that long, it's been 30 minutes already, but I'm not going to go that long. I promise. You know, because every time I say that, I go 3-4 hours. It's 2-3 in the morning. I'm like, Jesus, what's going on? So John Jones says, Joey, if the Eagles go to win on Sunday and go to win the Super Bowl, where does this team rank with the Eagles of 17? They're better. They're automatically better because I feel like I think one position when it comes to the running backs, I feel like the Eagles had really good running backs in 17, but they just know how to use these running backs this year a lot. I say it's a better team. It's a better team. Right now, they're not a better team than 17 because they haven't won the big game yet. They haven't got to the Super Bowl yet and won that game yet. But when it comes down to the roster, receivers, tight ends, I think behind Travis Kelce, I think Dallas Goedert's better than Kittle, no joke. I honestly think he's a top 3 tight end regardless. Kittle's still a top 3 tight end regardless. You're facing one of the best tight ends in the league on the 49ers this Sunday. I think this team, yeah. I mean, our cornerbacks are better than Ronald Darby and Jalen Mills. Our safeties are better. They play better. I think this whole entire defense is just playing so much better. It's definitely huge. Chubb said, I can't believe Lane made it through the whole Giants game. Dude, a damn monster, and hopefully he can come out early again. Yeah, so Lane played 68% of this. 68 snaps out of 70. Played a lot of snaps. He only pretty much played the whole game. And he looked good. It was like the third quarter. I think we had a big run with, I think, Kenneth Gainwell. And like Lane Johnson was like doing this. And I was like, oh, yeah, he's fine. He's good. And he even said that he would rather have this injury than have an abdominal injury or his ankle injury had those 2 seasons. Remember, he tried playing on that bad ankle for 2 seasons. He had 2 ankle injuries in 2 years. So. Oh, he'll get the extension, bro. Other than Jalen Hurts, I have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson getting a monster extension. There's no doubt. Pay that man. That man can play 2 positions on your defense or more. So you have to pay Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Joel Mag says Reddick is going to be a problem, Joey. That last game, he was in the backfield a lot. Yeah, he was a problem. I said that Reddick was going to have a big game against the Giants. He was just relentless. He is so unappreciated, and why he is unappreciated to the NFL is because he's in Philadelphia. That's why he's unappreciated, because he's in Philadelphia. I never hear the media talking about Hassan Reddick. When do you hear Hassan Reddick's name on national television? I never do. Almost never. You know what I mean? Eagles fan says this Eagles team has a lot more talent, star power than the 2017. Oh, 100%. No doubt. Louisville says Brock has never been on the road in the playoffs. If he faces an early deficient, it's obvious he will struggle. Tough for an experienced QB. No rookie has ever done it. Yeah, I think that is 100% true. It is going to be crazy territory from the walk into Philly. He's like, oh, Philly, going to Philly should be good. You know, like even like after that post game when Kittle was kind of joking around and he was like, okay, bye. And then Purdy was like, it's going to be nice to go into Philadelphia. Like I'm not saying they're taking this lightly, but they got to start being a little bit more serious about what's to come. And I think Kittle did say some good things. He said, Philadelphia is a great place to be in. Like the fans, it's going to be crazy territory to play in. So he kind of backtracked a little bit at his post conference after the Cowboys game. Mr. Nash says, give credit to Weapon X. Eagles fans never forget. Make sure to tell Philly 500. JB says, regardless if we win or lose, honestly, I'm super proud of this team, but obviously I want them to win. Dude, I cannot. If they lose this game, I'm not going to be as mad, but it depends how they lose this game. Really, it depends how they lose. If they fight to the end and just one stupid penalty or one stupid play got in the way, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But I had them being on fire this week. Marshall Lee says, I have a theory that Steichen and Gann didn't too cute in play calling because they don't want to mess up potential head coaching jobs. Yeah, I think that's part of it too. Kyle says Gannon needs to use press coverage. Greg says Marcus Epps and Reed Blankenship bring the lumber. Kenny says it's going to be tough. John says this Eagles team is probably better than the 2017 team. Joseph Caceres says if we blow out the 49ers, I don't think we do. We win the bowl easy. Oh, I'm not going to say that. As much as I think the Bengals are going to beat KC because I just think so, I think because Patrick Mahomes has that high ankle sprain, he's going to be limited. Not really limited, but you get rid of that mobility from Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying he can't still play, but Joe Burrow, I would rather bury him than Patrick Mahomes because I think Joe Burrow is a little cocky. He's a little cocky. I don't like Joe Burrow. I think he's got a lot of cockiness. So I would think that would be the matchup. Maybe we'll see. The AFC Championship game should be fun to watch. Young boy Majestic said, "What up, Joey? How you feel about Kittle? Is he too physical for Johnson?" I too physical for Johnson. Oh, for Chauncey? No, I mean, look, I think if he just sticks to him in coverage and just tries to get in those arms of his and it just stays with him, I think he'll be fine. What I really don't want is Edwards and Kaiser White on Kittle because they're gonna score a lot of points on us. They're gonna get upfield very quick on us. I don't have any faith in TJ Edwards and Kaiser White on covering him. All right, says Purdy will throw interceptions, especially on slants. Brand Cats at the $4 are a good team, but the team has a lot of weaknesses. Their weak schedule has covered up their second best pass rusher after Bosa has 5 sacks. Their secondary has weakness too. Bones says, I need Lane Johnson to come out of this game healthy as possible. Yeah, he will. He will. Yo, Lions Den, what's going on, dude? Hope you're having a good day, man. Johnson Lane was dominant against Nick Bosa. Brand says Philly won't leave Johnson one-on-one with Bosa. I think they will. It just depends how it goes, though. I think it just really depends on how it goes. Savage says Lane versus Bosa is going to be a pivotal matchup. I think Lane can get it done even with the injury. Bosa has 1 sack in the last 4 games. Albert says Purdy is good, but the pressure our defense can bring will mess up his plans. That's what I think is going to happen. I think it's really all about getting pressure on him. He's not a big, Purdy's not a big scrambler. And like there was a play where the Cowboys pressured Purdy. He ran backwards for 5, maybe 6 to 10 yards. And he spun and then threw the ball. Like he literally spun and threw it. Like didn't even look to see where he was throwing the ball. Like I feel like there's going to be a pick. I feel like there's going to be a turnover in this game. If he does stuff like that, I feel like it's going to be dangerous. Brad says, no, they won't. Not with the going injury. Lil Phil says, Brand Cats lay off the crack. Landon Josh will be one-on-one versus Bose and win every rep. Wish from North Philly LV says this is it right here. This game will answer a lot of questions. What is the recipe for the recipe is getting pressure on Brock Purdy and let Jalen Hurts be Jalen Hurts. Let this offense work for him and let him sling it, man. I think A.J. Brown, depending on Lenoir, their second cornerback is a little bit of a weakness. I think they could exploit a little bit of him just a little bit. I think the outside runs, I think the 49ers are going to be way too aggressive. Way too aggressive. I think these read options are going to work. I think Jalen Hurts is going to get a lot of yards. I think he's going to kill this team with a lot of yards. That's what I think. Brandon said the 49ers don't have a second pass rusher that is consistent. Armstead has been hurt all year. Philly will help Johnson. Eagle Buybacks, I think my ESPN notification is late, but breaking news, A.J. Brown being hurt. How bad? It doesn't look good. No, he's fine, man. He dealt with a little injury, but he's fine. It wasn't even reported that he's going through some big injury. I highly doubt it. Eagle Buyback said, have you heard anything of his injury? Chris said, Epson White will double Kittle. Again, this is Lane Johnson got that on lock. Fan of the Batman said, I think as long as they got a DB on Kittle, I think they should be all right. Brad says, oh, yeah, this was the new news that came out. So Amen Hughes' arrest is a big deal. He's been the 49ers' second best pass rusher. So that's interesting going into this game. I don't know if he's going to get, he got arrested, but is he, how serious is it? It's domestic violence or I don't know what it is. I didn't read too much into it, but I definitely saved the article because I want to read more on it. John said that Christian McCaffrey still has the injury. I was told, Joey, he was injured. Yeah, he has a calf injury right now. So, yeah, he is injured. Dank says, fans think we aren't physical enough, but they can hit with anyone. That is true. Lit says, sitting by the fire, chilling with the birds. What's going on, Lit? Brand says, John McCaffrey has a calf issue. The 49ers use Elijah Mitchell a lot more than they usually do in the second half last week. They said Kittle is the only one that worries me. Phil says, Brand Cat says, congrats on being the first person to ever predict the Lane Johnson double team scheme. Your special one. He'll buy back. Said, I just seen this breaking injury news on AJ Brown like 10 minutes ago. Well, I don't know. I don't know where this is coming from. So, which from and Philly says, this is right here. The game will answer a lot of questions. Joe says, I think White, Cox, Bradbury are gone next year. I'd love to keep Bradbury. He's going to demand a high price, though. I'd prefer locking CJ up. Do you think Miles' contract will be close to Saquon? Saquon ain't getting $16 million a year. I'm sorry, but the Giants aren't going to pay him that. Is another team going to pay Saquon 16? Apparently, he turned down a contract. It was like 4 years, $12 million a year. I don't know what's going to happen, but somebody is going to set. And Barkley even said he doesn't want to set the market. Like he's not trying to set the market, but he wants more compensation, I guess. He's been healthy for 1 year. So, I mean, how much you really going to pay him $16 million a year? And if I don't know what's going to happen with Miles Sanders. I feel like he will walk. I feel like he will. Track Talk says, can we talk about Travaris Ward, number one, getting wrecked by DK Metcalf and not looking the same? He isn't playing aggressive and looks scared. Thanks to his truck. That whole secondary is burnable. Aid says, do you think Jalen will throw more than 233 yards or less? I think he throws less in this game. He might throw less in this game than 233 yards. He probably will throw less because I think he will run a little bit more in this game. Trey said, yo, Joey, they brought up Anthony Harris so he could get a game check. That was the reason. Oh, was that the reason? Dag says QB's average 240 yards per game. Youngboy Majesty said, would you prefer Dean on the field with his speed? Yeah, I would love it, but I know they're not going to do it. Like I would absolutely love it, but I don't think they're going to do it at all. Dang, so that's why they are tops in the run defense, because you could throw on them. Ben Mayberry said AJ Brown is going to play, bro. Roji said, you're right. Joey Reddick never gets mentioned. He does not. He does not. Let me go down the chat a little bit. I'm very late on all these chats. It's tough to get through all these chats. So Dale says the 49ers get a running back going there will be a little pressure on Purdy. Mon says they play a lot of zone defense like us. Fred Christian, our offense is unlocked like cheat code mode. 1HP says Isaac Samal deserves more credit attention. Oh, no, I mean, look, I think when he got drafted, I wasn't really a big Isaac Samal fan. I think his pass protection was really suspect his first couple years. His run blocking was really good, but I think he's became a really good. I think he's a free agent after this year. His contract is voided, I think, next year. So if Kelsey stays with this team, I mean, Cam Jurgens might be your next future right guard. As of right now, I don't know. But Antonio Hope says, watch the 49ers versus Raiders game. It will open some eyes about their defense. Yo, Eagles News, what's going on, dude? Francis says, difference if we want Purdy to try and run. They don't want Hurts trying to run. It's not true. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true about not wanting. Like, I think they want to at least try to get as many Yeah, of course, I think they want to not have him take hits as possible. There's no doubt, but I don't think they're afraid of him running. Like, Hurts did a good job. Like I think he ran to players a couple times on a couple runs, but he slid. Like if he knew he wasn't going to get any yards out of what he was doing, he slid. He took a knee and just slid. You know what I mean? Like he's being cautious. He's not being stupid about it. You know what I mean? So I'm totally fine with the way Hurts has been managing himself on the field. I think that's definitely one thing. But yes, take it from that Chicago game where he was, these design run plays have been a huge, problem. Like that game was a problem because they were trying to force themselves to win that game. Chris says, don't worry, AJ is playing. He might have a monster game. I think he's going to be pissed off this week. I think so. Godzilla says, got to watch Debo on screens too. Yeah, 100%. No doubt. Robert says, game plan, pressure Brock Purdy. The 49ers don't have a good receivers good enough to cook our DBs. Clyde Jones says, Gainwell could be really good back with a power back in the mix. Like him and a guy like Hunt would be a really good backfield, and Hunt would not be crazy expensive at all. Here's the thing with that, okay? Are people starting to open their eyes too much on Kenneth Gainwell because he had over 100 yards rushing? Do people think that he could be a number one running back? I don't know. I honestly don't. I don't think the Eagles are going to be done at that position. Even if Miles walks, it doesn't secure us to say, oh, Gainwell is just our number one. He's fine. I think Gainwell was a steal in the 5th round from Memphis. There's no doubt about it. But is he really a number one, though? I'm not really sure. One game over 100 yards, yeah, looked fantastic. Runs really hard, tough, But is he the answer? I don't know. Chris says Kavon has stepped up, and so has Milton Williams. Yeah, no, like Milton Williams is a flash. He's a flash in the pan. Like he gets, he makes plays when he makes plays. It's not every single series, but he makes up for what he could do. And Kavon Wallace had that big hit at the end of the game. Kavon Wallace, the last few weeks of the season, done some good things. Had some good tackles, been in some coverage situations for the Eagles. Done pretty good. Did pretty good. I can't look. I'm very realistic with it. You know what I mean? Brad says, Amenhue was arrested for allegations of domestic. Yeah, I can't say his name, so give me a break. Was arrested for allegations of domestic violence for pushing his girlfriend. She had no visible injuries. She got a restraining order against him. In today's environment, I'd be surprised. I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna is that going to have him not play in this game? I mean, I'm not trying to make this thing not a big deal because it is. It's you're pushing your girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like it's not good. But is that enough for the league to say, hey, but what did he do? Did he bruise her up? Did he punch her? Did he just slap her? Like what did he do? Like that's the difference of what. Even though it's still bad, what did he do to her? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I need more specifics than pushed her, pushing her, punching her, slapping her. I don't know. There's a huge difference in all that. You know what I mean? Godzilla says Chris Scott Milt is good. Greg says, yeah, I wouldn't mind having a Kobe D on the field. Flagos Fly says Hurts and AJ have a big game. Oh, yeah. I think so, man. Rich, after all the hype this season, the Eagles disrespect, I think the Birds are going to be hungry to demand the respect due to them on Sunday. Dude, of course I'm scared going into this game, and I'm like, I'm nervous because it's an NFC Championship game. You're always nervous in the playoffs because you know that if they lose, there's no other games to watch. Your team's not going to play the next week. There's no game next week. You know what I mean? That's where you start to go crazy over it. I feel like the bigger the stage this team gets to, the better they're going to play. The resilience. And Jalen Hurts, obviously, gravitating the players towards him, gravitating this whole team towards him is huge. There's no doubt. Hit That Jaw says, feeling good about this game. I feel good. I feel very confident. As much as the 49ers are confident, both teams, both fans bases should feel very confident going into this game. There's no doubt. Martin says, this reminds me of the Vikings championship game, backup QB and elite defense for the Vikes. Yeah, I said this earlier in the stream. I literally said, felt like we're going to the same situation. You know what I mean? Like number one defense, and look what they did, 38-7, man. Look what we did to them. They scored, they scored that nonsense one touchdown they had, and the Eagles had the pick six, and that was it. We took over that game, Eagles News says, I think we will need to rush Purdy a lot, force him to throw some picks. That's definite. That's the number one thing I'm doing, though. Brock Purdy. Eagles buyback says, if we let go Miles Sanders, we still need a number one back. Would you go for Josh Jacobs or Saquon Barkley? No, but why? Here's what I don't get with you guys. If Miles is going to walk, why are you going to sign another running back that's never played on this team before? Like, do you guys think Saquon's better than Miles? Do you guys think that? Obviously, Josh Jacobs has better statistics than Miles Sanders. There's no doubt. But why not bring your homegrown talent back in Philly where he has chemistry? The Eagles know how to use him. And, why go for another running back if you're just going to let one go? Like, Josh Jacobs has better statistics, so he's going to get paid more than Miles is. Maybe. I mean, you're literally picking the best back. You're literally picking the best back that had the most yardage. I don't know what the rest of his stats are, but I know statistically he was a mile ahead of Miles Sanders in statistics. Blame the Philadelphia Eagles for not running him in 5 to 6 games in the first half of games. You know what I mean? I mean, he would have a lot more yards. There's no doubt. No doubt at all. Godzilla 24-13, win the Birds. I'm going to move down the chat a little bit. I'm so behind on this chat, guys. Like, it's going way too fast. I'm trying to get to everybody, but it's tough. It is tough. Kavai Jones says, I'm seeing the same type of progress in Milton Williams from what I saw from Josh Sweat in his first few years. Josh was horrible in year 1. Year 2, and Milton already looks so much better in his rookie year. Well, he's learning from a lot of guys in front of him, too. Like, this defensive line he's got a lot of good players to learn from in front of him. You got Linval. You got Jordan, you got Linval. You got Dominican Sue. You got Fletcher Cox, you got Hargrave. You got a lot of guys not only have playoff experience, Super Bowl experience, just veteran experience in general with those guys. It's great. It's great. You know? Kenny says, like, don't mess on women and all, dude. Like, don't be a girl like that. Hit the Johnson, Sanders, and Kenny and Scott and Hurts are always going to have the running game going to open up the pass game. Yeah, 100%. Ray says we are winning. I think we're hungrier than San Francisco. They're happy to been in the conference championship. This team is hungry. As Jalen Hurts said, they're starving. They're starving for it. Art says, are you going to see that horror movie? Am I? Of course. Why did you even ask that question? Of course I am. Can't wait. Gotta get tickets. Brad says the league won't step in. The 49ers likely won't play him today's environment. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Joe says, so do you think Purdy turns into Case Keenum? Yeah, I mean, you never know. I don't know what type of pressure Gannon's going to bring in this game, but I understand the Giants are a different team. Their O-line is definitely a lot different than the 49ers, but I got to say this, bro. Like, your defensive line is 100% healthy going into this game. 4 guys with double-digit sacks, and statistics really don't even matter, but I'm sorry, but when Gannon starts blitzing and doing these stunts, and Dallas did so much and just couldn't. They got him down a couple times, and I just saw what they did to Purdy and how Purdy looked after trying to get these passes off. Like, if you pressure Purdy, that offense with all those crazy weapons are non-existent. They're non-existent. You know what I mean? That's just the truth. Just the truth. We got a super chat from Shane Hilton. Thank you so much, man, for the super chat. Says, who would you rather face in the Super Bowl? I said the Bengals, to be honest, because I think Joe Burrow is just like one cocky player. I don't like Joe Burrow. I mean, he's done a really good job this year. I feel like we can overtake that offensive line in Cincinnati. I don't know how the game is going to go between them and KC with the high ankle sprain. With the high ankle sprain with Patrick Mahomes is going to be a big deal because you lose that mobility in Patrick Mahomes. Not saying he can't play on it, but he's putting pressure on that ankle all the time. That injury is going to get worse over time. Whether he likes it or not, him putting pressure on it is going to make it worse. So I think the Bengals have a huge chance. I think we would destroy their offensive line. I think we would take over their offensive line. I think we would put Burrow in the ground I don't know how many times. No joke. So that's what I would want. Eagle Buyback says, I want him back. I hope he works out for us, comes back, but it seems like we're not going to pay him because we have other players to pay. If you feel comfortable with Gainwell I don't know if I feel comfortable with Gainwell as the number one back. I don't think so. I don't think it because of one game of him going over 100 yards. I don't think so. I don't think that proves to us that that's going to be our guy. You know what I mean? Rod says, I 100% agree with you about Miles. I don't get why people want to get Saquon Jacobs instead of him like Miles has had in the league. That's what I'm saying, dude. Just think about this. Josh Jacobs has been run into the ground, and he's been injured a few times already. Now, Miles Sanders has been injured, but think about it like this. In 2020, Doug Pearson didn't run with Miles Sanders that whole year. 2020, here, I'll bring up the stats right now. No joke. Like, you got to look at it from a standpoint of tread on the tires. Miles Sanders has a lot more years as a running back because of this reason, even though I hate the reason because I think they did a bad job with him. I'm trying to find it. What am I looking at here? I can't find it. I don't know what's going on. So 2020 with Miles Sanders, right? Miles Sanders they barely ran the ball. Doug barely ran the ball at Miles Sanders. Barely. 2021, Nick was in charge of play calling, barely ran the ball within the first 6-7 games. You know what I mean? He was hurt twice. He got hurt in that Lions game and then got hurt before the wild card game, and he was able to play in that wild card game, and then he came back being almost out 3 weeks, and he looked horrible. That wild card game was horrible last year. We all know that. We weren't prepared for that game. We weren't meant to even be in that game. We we were still learning as an offense. We didn't have the weapons to get it done. We weren't going to get far. We already knew that going to that game. I said, hey, if they have a chance, great. If not, then it is what it is. But there's not much like the tread on the tires for Miles Sanders in his running game. They barely ran with him the last 2 years. Barely. Really, when you think about it. Josh Jacobs he's been running to the ground with his legs. Miles works for the system. Every running back benefits from this read option system with Jalen Hurts. When teams have to hone in on Jalen Hurts and his legs, every running back is going to look really good. And I'm not saying that Miles Sanders wouldn't have had a 1,000-yard year without Jalen Hurts, but it changes the offense a lot. It changes what defenses do. You know what I mean? So I get it, but we got a super chat from Shade Hilton again. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. He says, be careful what you wish for. Burrow, the real deal. Dude, like, I think Burrow's great. I think Burrow's a really good quarterback, but I just don't. He's cocky. I want to shut him up, man. That's all I want to do. I want to shut him up. Yeah, Ghost White rerun. Oh, God. Eagles will win 41-17. Purdy will throw 3 picks. It could be true, man. Could be true. I honestly think you get pressure on Purdy. I saw it, man. I'm going to watch the Cowboys game again and be like, oh, my God, like this guy, like little bit of pressure. And he's like, the guy can't scramble. The guy, I mean, I literally saw him getting pressured, and he literally ran backwards on purpose to spin and throw it as quick as possible to get that throw off. Like, I feel like you could be right. You could be right. Trey says San Francisco offense operates middle where our defense has been the weakest. Yes, that is true. Most of Purdy's completions came from the middle of the field that Dallas game. That's where our weakness is, middle of the field. Now, how can the Eagles turn that into a positive defensively? Soft zone coverage probably won't get it done. I don't know, but they're going to have to do something middle of that field and make sure that's it's occupied for that reason. Eagle Dude said NFL rumors Eagles QB coach is getting a lot of buzz with these offensive coordinators. Oh, yeah, of course. Both coordinators are getting a lot of attention right now. There's no doubt. Trey265 says also they will try to minimize our top pass defense. They move Debo around a lot. You won't see him matched up with Slay or Bradbury. That much San Francisco can avoid it. Yeah. Johnson Marshall, Nick Bosa is the battle for Lay Johnson. Godzilla says running back is the least important position. You don't want to put heaps of cap here. No, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, look at the only thing you're going to be losing this past year, it could be Somalo and could be Miles Sanders. Defensively, yeah, a lot of free agents defensively. There's no doubt. Linval Joseph. You got Linval Joseph. You have Dominican Sue, Fletcher Cox, the Gravedigger, Bradbury, Marsha Epps. I mean, no joke. Like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, TJ Edwards, Kaiser White. It's a lot of free agents on this defensive side of the ball. No joke. So defense is more of a priority when you think about it. I would love to re-sign Sanders. Look, if they can get it done on a cheaper deal, but I'm not going to blame Howie Roseman if Miles walks. I'm not going to blame him. Like, Miles deserves his money. He does. As long as he's not in the NFC East, I'm good. You know what I mean? As long as he's not in the NFC East, I am fine with it. You know what I mean? I can't blame him for going out and getting money. Brand said the Giants offense would be nothing without Barkley. I totally agree. Winsby says, Joey, you saw Craig Carton rank Hurts 4th QB. No, I haven't. And that's ridiculous. Really, ever since Brock Purdy won, that took over that game for Jimmy Garoppolo. He took that game over for Jimmy G. And then he started and won that next game. They hyped him up. After a game and a half, they hyped him up that bad. Okay? Hurts plays out of his mind. By that time, he's already playing out of his mind way beyond, and he doesn't get the respect. And you know why? Because he's in Philadelphia. That's why. Philadelphia is just nobody praises you in Philadelphia. That's just the truth. Alex, I see them going all D-line, offensive line, first 2 picks. I say first 3 picks. I think they could draft an offensive lineman in the 2nd round. I don't know if they go offensive lineman first. They could with our own pick, obviously, not with the 10th overall pick. Definitely not. Flowers said maybe Trey Sermon could take over if Sanders walks. I don't know. Haven't really heard anything about Sermon. I know he's on the practice squad. We get this Trey Sermon question every week, and I don't blame anybody that asks me. They wanted to trade for Trey Sermon, and they couldn't because they knew they were going to want a draft pick, and Howie didn't want to give up a draft pick for him. Then all of a sudden, he went off waivers. The Eagles picked him up off waivers, and finally, you had him on your roster. They start him. He had 2 reps, 2 runs in the Jaguars game, 2, and they were good runs. I think they were both first downs, if I'm not mistaken. And then they never used him after that. Maybe they're not interested in backs like that. I don't know. Kennedy Brooks they just re-signed Kennedy Brooks to future contract, so Kennedy Brooks will be in the offseason. I like Kennedy Brooks a lot. The way they used him since we only have 2 preseason games now, they used him on like outside runs. I'm like, he's a north and south runner. You know what I mean? He's a north and south runner. I like Kennedy Brooks. I thought he shined in OTAs and training camp. I thought he was making the first guy miss 9 out of 10 times. He did really well. And they didn't use him really that much in the preseason games. Godzilla says most teams would like a running back one like Sanders. See, like, don't turn to here's the thing. Okay. Do not turn your offense how do I even say this? Don't turn your offense into the Tennessee Titans, where they rely on Derrick Henry for everything. Like, see what I'm talking about, guys? Like the Titans don't have an offensive line. They're paying Derrick Henry all this money, and Henry can only do so much. You know, the only thing that's saving Henry in that offense when they have a battered up offensive line is his size. That's really the only thing that's saving him, okay, from doing most of anything. Once this offensive line you have for the Philadelphia Eagles, like depending if Kelsey retires, whatever they do with Lane Johnson, how many years he has left on his contract, the Eagles have been very good at drafting offensive linemen. Jeff Stalin, what he's done with this offensive line has just been ridiculous. Okay. So I don't want us to turn into a team where, like, I don't know how teams make, like, you build your offense around your running back. I think it's really dumb. Like what they did with him, I think it's stupid. But this is a plug-in type running back system, because I'm not saying any running back can get thrown in there, but if you get someone like Kenneth Gainwell's a 5th rounder, like a 5th round steal, and look what he did against the Giants in the playoffs. I mean, it's not even just a playoff game. Look what he did all year. He's had some really good runs. They actually stopped passing the ball to him. I mean, I thought they passed to him maybe one time. I think Gainwell had one pass thrown to him on the left side that went up the sideline. I think he was like a couple yards short of the first down. But they used to pass to him a lot, and they used to run, and they run with him a lot of times. So they're, the Eagles have held back on a lot of the play calling the past few weeks of the regular season, the last few weeks. And I love how they used all 3 of these running backs. I loved how they used all these running backs, not putting too much on Miles Sanders because, it splits up the reps. It gives Miles a breather, and it makes them better for the next game. Use a running back too much. These guys get dinged up, man. Running backs get dinged up too much. Like, it's a hard position to play for years because of that reason. But using 3 running backs definitely helps all these running backs moving forward in the playoffs. There's no doubt. No doubt about it. I'm going to move down the chat a little bit. I'm sorry, guys. I'm way behind. I'm going to keep moving down once I feel like I'm too behind. Cairo says, I like what we have. Last game showed it. Having Sanders tired out the defense and then having a power runner like Gainwell and then Scott also able to get between tackles. Oh, they were tired. The Giants were tired. Did you see Dexter Lawrence? That man couldn't even stand up straight. He was so tired. Like, you tired them out. The Eagles could do that. The Eagles not only could do that with their running backs, with the offensive line, what they've done, they could do it with Jalen Hurts. Hurts could tire them out too. So it's not even a pair of legs you have to worry about with these running backs, but what do you have to worry about with the rest of these guys? It's crazy. But in San Francisco's case, they could do the same thing to us, where they put Debo in the backfield. They put Christian McCaffrey as a wide receiver. They could tire us out too with that run game, how they use both of those guys. So it's interesting. And Elijah Mitchell as well, man. Eagle News says, manifesting a big play, pick 6 on Sunday. Jod says, even if Bob Murphy isn't there at 10, what about Jalen Carter? Jalen Carter would be good. Like, I would be so up to draft Jalen Carter. Joey Porter, if they lose Bradbury, I'm going to try to get Joey Porter with the 10th overall pick. Like, I'm getting a cornerback instantly. Depending what they do, look, obviously free agency will designate what we're doing in the draft. Like, we'll see the empty spots. I mean, it will show. You know what I mean? Godzilla says Carter could go 1. Greg says, agreed. John Jones about Jalen Carter. I've been watching Jalen Carter play for the last couple of years. He's a stud. Wow, unbelievable. Brand says, Philly needs offensive line depth. Driscoll struggles. Kelsey is 36. Johnson is getting too old. Yeah, they need a right tackle. They need a right tackle. They need if depending what happens at right guard, if Samala walks, which I think if Kelsey stays, I think this is only going to be if Kelsey stays that Cam Jurgens is going to play right guard. So obviously they drafted Dickerson. He was supposed to be our starting center when we thought Kelsey was going to retire, and it didn't happen. So there's a lot of different things. Dillard, the Eagles are not picking up his fifth-year option. Like, Dillard came into that game at left guard for a couple plays. He did pretty well. Driscoll, I think, is more of a right guard than a right tackle. For some weird reason, I thought Driscoll was going to play a lot better when Lane was out. I thought when Lane was out, Driscoll had more reps. We've seen Driscoll play very well at right tackle, but I don't know what happened. You know what I mean? So I think we're starting to learn that Driscoll is a better right guard than the right tackle. And yes, they're going to need some depth at that position. And I think we'll be fine. You know what I mean? Hit the John Kirill Bezos says, how can we attack this defense? I mean, I think when it comes down to it, it comes down to the number 2 corner. It comes down to the 49ers being so aggressive. They're going to use that read option, use the RPOs, and they're going to either run with Jalen Hurts. They're going to run with Miles Sanders to the outside. They're going to do a lot of different things. They're going to get Dallas Goedert involved. There's a lot of different things. They're a very aggressive defense. With aggressive defense comes a really good offense that knows how to counter that with those QB runs, with those runs to the outside with Miles Sanders or Boston Scott or Kenneth Gainwell, whatever you got to do, getting that screen game going, because I think you got the offensive line to do it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of those wide receiver screens. I'd rather do the tight end screens a lot. That's really the only thing I didn't like about that Giants game was those screen passes to Devontae Smith. He had the first down one. He slipped on another play. They just didn't work. They're kind of, you got to catch teams off guard with that. And San Francisco will be prepared for that. There's no way, no doubt. John says, unless we trade up, we need another defensive tackle because Cox won't be back either next year. Yeah, look, here's the thing. Either the Eagles are going to let Cox walk or they're going to sign him to like a 1-year deal where it's going to be a cheap 1-year deal to keep him in the building for one more year, just to have him as a starting piece to a depth piece. I understand Jordan Davis is going to be the starter next year. But if they really wanted, they could sign Fletch to a 1-year deal next year just so he's on the roster for 1 year, could fill in as a starter. Jordan Davis gets better next year, and that's it. So we'll find out what happens with all of that, but should be interesting. Hargrave, I think, needs an extension. I think you have to give Hargrave an extension regardless. So really the main extensions I'm looking for as of right now is probably going to be Jalen Hurts, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Edwards, and Hargrave. I think those are your 4 you're going to need, and that's without Miles Sanders getting an extension, unless it's dirt cheap, which I highly doubt it, but we will see. Bottom 45, so the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. I'm convinced in this point, the main reason being in Jalen Hurts is the MVP and not I think they have a big chance. I think they have a huge chance. You win this game, I mean, that's it. You're in the Super Bowl. Then we have another couple weeks to talk about the Eagles and get ready for this big game. And man, I would love for the season to extend to because really think about it. If this season can extend into February, a few weeks later, we're getting ready for free agency. You know what I mean? Like the offseason, like we're going to be quick into the offseason with a lot of stuff going on. Goop says this game defensive line needs to be home wreckers and make Purdy's life a living hell. That's how we win. John says Gibbs is good, but is he the answer for the Eagles team? Marshall Lynch says Lane Johnson is a shutdown tackle. It's really impressive, and Devontae is such a big game moment player. MJ Horn says, do you think we should re-sign Kaiser White or let him walk and let the no, Kaiser White's done. Kaiser White's gone. It's over with Kaiser White. The Kaiser White thing is done. I don't think he played. I think he played good this year. I don't think he played fantastic, but I definitely think he was a nice molding piece, a nice role-playing piece for this linebacker spot. Oh no, Nakobe Dean is coming in. Nakobe Dean's coming in. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. You know what I mean? I'm excited for Nakobe Dean. I am, but I think they still have to sign another linebacker next year. They can bring Kaiser White back next year if they want, but as a backup, if that's what he wants to do, it just really depends. You know what I mean? Tyler said the reason why Niners got tired is because they went all out in the beginning, playing the minds out, and then get tired fast after that. Chris says Brees might be there at 10. Carlton Roberts says Eagles 31, 49ers 17. Ray says trade Slay and give Bradbury the money. That's the offseason move. We got Titan Anderson in the building. What's going on, dude? If you guys have it, subscribe to Titan Anderson. He is a Titans fan, one of my good friends on YouTube. Definitely subscribe to him. He covers all Titan stuff. He's a great content creator. Definitely check out his channel if you guys have it. So thank you for coming in, man. I do appreciate it so much. Godzilla says you could realistically have your pick of the OT class of at 10. Yeah, they could do whatever they want. They could do whatever they want. But it really depends on who they re-sign before they hit free agency. And it depends on if, obviously if Bradbury walks, that's a huge one. Slay is only on contract for one more year. So Bradbury is going to be a tough one to sign, but maybe there's a chance that he'll stay. Maybe there's a chance where he likes this team so much and feels like, there's a chance this team could be good for another year. And this team's going in the right direction. It should be awesome to see. Roji said Kelsey is not going to retire. Dillard might play this week. Ramsey costs too much. Oh, Rams? No. I think he's horrible. Flyos Fly says, you see, we're heavy on Vic Fangio when Gannon leaves. Yeah, that's a good sign. It's a really good sign. And you know what? I think it's the best choice. If Gannon is going to leave, we're not going to be able to get him back, regardless of what we say to him. I think Fangio, he's a consultant here. He works with this team. He has a lot of relations here. Fangio, I think, has a interview with the Falcons defensive coordinator job. I think that's it. But I got to say, I think the top two defensive coordinators are going to be here. In my mind, of what the Eagles are going to, not top as in who's available, but I think what the Eagles are going to do, it's either going to be Vic Fangio or it's going to be Denard Wilson, Gannon's right-hand man. I think either they're going to hire Fangio, promote from within with him, or they're going to promote from within with Denard Wilson, the cornerback coach, to become the new defensive coordinator. Would you rather have – I don't – look, if they gave Denard Wilson a shot, wouldn't matter to me. I would be fine with it. I'd give him a chance, but I hope they make the right decision. You know what I mean? I hope they make the right decision. That's what it comes down to. So we've been over an hour in this stream. Thank you so much for joining the stream. There's 307 people in the chat. Thank everybody for joining tonight on the late night stream. We're going to do another stream this week. We're going to do a couple more streams this week, actually, because we're going to be very busy. We'll have some videos out tomorrow and all that great stuff about some certain things that we talked about today. Definitely get into more of it tomorrow in depth. If you guys haven't subscribe to the channel, like the stream if you guys have it. Check out the pinned comment above for memberships on extra content and obviously, support and all that great stuff. So appreciate it so much. Moving down this chat a little bit. Philly D says the game against Dallas and San Fran was a physical game that will have an impact this week. I totally agree. Josh Fears, I love Josh Jobe. Oh, Josh Jobe, man, I got to say, man, that hit, those two consecutive hits with Josh Jobe and Kevon Wallace were absolutely amazing. I thought they were amazing. So, Brandon says the best thing that could happen in Philly is for Gannon to get a head coaching job, and then Fangio takes over. Gannon is Philly's biggest weakness by far. Eagle Slayer, what's going on, dudes? I don't get all the Cox hate. I get we have to get younger, but this is his most productive. Yeah, but, dude, you got to think of it this way. The only reason Cox is playing better right now is because Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh are here. Before Linval and Ndamukong Suh joined up with the Eagles before that Colts game, okay, he was playing over 70% of the snaps, and he was not playing well, okay? So with more depth at that position, Cox is playing a lot better with a shorter snap count. So I think that's making the big difference with Fletch. I don't think Fletch is the same player he used to be. Definitely not. As a rotation guy, as a starter, I think he's fine. You know what I mean? As a starter, I think he's fine. With a nice rotation behind him, I think he's fine. Those two signings made a huge difference in why he's playing better. So Thanks says Fangio runs the same defense and probably adds a little bit more aggression too. And I said in my video the other day about Gannon, why he's not blitzing as much. He likes to do those multiple fronts, which he really learned that from Mike Zimmer when he was a defensive assistant for the Vikings a few years ago. Yeah, well, more than a few years ago. But you know, just because the Eagles like when you're playing soft zone coverage and you're not making plays, and you're letting these receivers and tight ends off the line, and you're not making plays from that, it's a problem. When the Eagles are reacting more than attacking, it's a problem. But look at the most highly blitzed teams in the league. The Giants were the most high, did the most blitz throughout this whole entire season. Okay. And Martindale has messed up a lot of games, messed up a couple of games because of blitzing way too much. Look at the Baltimore Ravens. They blitz a lot, and look where they are right now. I opened my eyes to a lot of different things. I'm not saying I'm like, oh, I want Gannon back, but if Gannon plays well these next two games, if they get to the Super Bowl, they win this game, they get to the Super Bowl, they play well in that Super Bowl, they win it all. It's really tough for me to let him go. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And if Fangio comes in, I hope he does a good job, and I hope he's the mastermind defensive coordinator that we all know he is, and gets the job done, and we'll see. David says, think we get a defensive score in this one. Big special teams, and Jalen throws for 300, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be a game where Hurts is going to throw for over 300 yards. I'd say 200 yards, 210 yards, maybe even lower than that, depending on if the run game's working better than the passing game. I don't know, but we'll see. Brand Cat says Fangio does not run the same defense. Fangio is much more aggressive than Gannon. His defense, Chicago and San Francisco, are much more aggressive than Gannon has been. Taylor, what's up, dude? Hope you're having a good day. Kyle says Fangio ran a pretty similar defense. He just wasn't as conservative. The difference is their mindsets and probably Fangio's experience. Thomas McClear says them New York Hobbits played horrible. I'm also miss Cox after he's gone. Yeah, I will too, man. He's been here a long time. Leroy Phillips says Dallas got tired. Your schedule is weak. We're not the Giants. We go show you what a real physical team is. Jalen Hurts. And where did you face a good defense on your whole entire schedule this year? Tell me that one. Give me one defense you faced that was a good defense on your regular schedule this year. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. I think the biggest mistake that the 49ers are going to make is because Trey Lance is not developed enough. They're going to put Brock Purdy in a box after what's going to happen to him next year. Because I'm telling you right now, I am not sold on Brock Purdy at all. I'm not. Simple as that. Simple as that. I looked at the San Francisco. I didn't follow San Francisco all year because I'm worried about my own team. And obviously the NFC East is more important. But from looking at that schedule of what the 49ers did to these defenses this year, weak schedule. Yeah, the NFC East did have a weak schedule this year. There's no doubt about it. The Eagles have beaten 4 out of 5 teams over 500 on their schedule. But San Francisco faced the best defense they faced all year, which was the Cowboys. And they struggled. That quarterback struggled. This is the type of this is what I'm talking about. They're going into Philadelphia. They think it's a cakewalk. They think this game is going to be a cakewalk. Simple as that. That's what they think. That's what it is. Once it's time to move from Dak picks a lot, turning into a Kirk Cousins situation, get rid of everything that had Jason Garrett. If you ever want to get somewhere and get rid of Jerry and his son. Kyle says, all Gannon hate primarily because of what we play soft zone coverage, basically just to be conservative, especially once we get a lead. I don't agree. Look, it's just, it has gotten us to 14 wins this year. It's just, I never liked that style of defense. It doesn't make me say I hate Jonathan Gannon. I don't hate Jonathan Gannon. I just hate the philosophy sometimes. That's all it is. I don't like the fact that you take your foot off the gas in some games. I don't like the fact that, if you let your foot off the gas, you're putting more, and if they score field goal after field goal after field goal, depending on what team you're facing, okay, it has really made that big difference of you're putting more pressure on your offense and your offense has to do more work. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, As you got too comfortable, relax. Your warriors, don't make it no excuses. Hey, I'm going to be here regardless, dude, if this team wins or loses, bro, but don't be cocky either, dude. Don't be cocky either. These 49er fans, I've never seen cockiness like there's no tomorrow. Road Warriors, let me tell you. We'll see. We'll see, bro. That quarterback is going to get eaten alive. That's all I'm going to say. That quarterback is a baby face. That guy shouldn't be in an NFC Championship game. That guy is going to get eaten up. Simple as that. Simple as that. And they know it. They know it. Promote Brian Johnson, offensive coordinator, and hire Fangio as a DC as long as we keep Wilson. All that matters. And promote Marcus Brady. Philly D says, Wicked One, think you're wrong, chat. We got Super Chat. King of Kings, what's going on, man? Sorry if I missed a Super Chat. It did not pop up. I don't know why. Says, mark my words, Joey, Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. Dude, I hope, dude. We got to take care of business, man. I'm not thinking about the Super Bowl right now. I'm thinking about this game this week. So, thank you for the Super Chat, by the way. Bleeding Green, Bleeding Calgary to the NFC South was weak this year, too. So, I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. Dakota Salvation says, do you think the team will take a step back next year? It seems like we're going to lose a lot of players. No, when it comes to Howie Roseman, I honestly don't think this team's taking a step back. I don't. I really don't. Nakobe Dean is stepping into, because I think TJ Edwards is going to be a cheap contract. I don't think it's going to be expensive. Nakobe Dean is going to be your starter next year. Chauncey Gardner is going to get signed. Really, it comes down to Hargrave. It comes down to Hargrave, Brandon Graham, and probably James Bradbury. That's what it's going to come down to. So I'm not worried about it when it comes to, we're not going to have an empty hole at a starting spot on defense. It ain't going to happen. So I think we're fine. When it comes to Howie Roseman and trying to get this roster together, the last couple seasons, what he's done, I can't complain about it at all. Flyos Fly said, Leroy, you don't understand the link is going to be rocking. Purdy will be under a lot of pressure. That's, look, that's the cockiness, bro. That's because they think Purdy's like their crown jewel, bro. His crown jewel is about to get slammed into a million pieces. That's just the truth. James Bond said, why shouldn't he be in the NFC Championship? Purdy stats and QBR are just good as everyone. He's won 7. He's won 7 straight games. And look, I don't. One year doesn't tell us who Brock Purdy is. That's just my opinion. And if you don't like my opinion, is what it is. He's a baby face of the NFL. They hyped him up way too much. 2 games, not even a game and a half in to his career. Okay. Last game against the Cowboys was the very first time they faced a premier defense. Okay. That was the first time they faced a premier defense. And they didn't play well offensively. They didn't. They didn't really start playing well until the end of the third quarter. Simple as that. They started getting McCaffrey in the run game. Like, I'm being as unbiased as possible. Like, they won the game. They advanced. It is what it is. But the 49ers are looking at the Eagles and saying, oh, they beat the Giants. They and they're getting cocky about this game. It's not even about beating the Giants. They played like a number 1 seed. I don't know if the 49ers can attack Jalen Hurts. I don't know if they can. I don't know if they can actually stop Jalen Hurts. That they haven't faced a quarterback like that all year. They haven't faced a quarterback like Jalen Hurts all year. It's a hard offense to defend, man. Both sides, both offenses are good. Purdy is a good player. Purdy is poised. Purdy makes good, quick decisions. I'm giving him respect. But when it comes down to him getting pressured, that offense is non-existent when he gets pressured. He cannot scramble. He cannot get the ball out of his hands accurately on pressure. He can't do it. Simple as that. What kind of pressure are we talking about, though? It just makes the difference, man. The 49ers have weapons everywhere. There's no doubt. But I don't look. 49er fans are going to be pissed off. They're going to be like, they're going to defend their quarterback. Hey, they better make sure that he's the right guy. They better make sure that he's the right guy. Simple as that. Because 1 year doesn't tell me anything. You know what I mean? If we lose this game, he gets the Super Bowl and he loses that game. It doesn't tell me much of anything. You know what I mean? He hasn't had a full year of football yet. You can't. It's what it is. It is what it is. Leroy says, Eagles cakewalk for you. This game will not be a blowout. Defensive game turnovers will be key to who wins. If we lose, I'll come on your podcast and give you props. No, dude, I get it. I get it, man. I'm being as unbiased as possible about it, man. I just look like you'll have your takes on the Eagles and what their weaknesses are and what they can't do and what they can do, and I'll have my takes on the 49ers and I just don't think Brock Purdy is going to be able to handle pressure all the time. I saw it last week. I mean, that's just my opinion. Simple as that. But I get it, man. I get it. Brand says Philly has to bring Bradbury back because of how good Bradbury is. Also because Slay is getting old. Dave said Brock Purdy simply doesn't lose. He's not the reason 49ers win. Well, that's the thing, too. Like, why do you want a quarterback that, like, God knows how long your defense could be good for the next few years. Like, you can't just keep a quarterback in the building and be like, oh, our defense is just going to put him in good position every single year. Your quarterback has got to prove himself to beat teams with his legs, to beat teams with his arm. I mean, regardless of what happens, like, he's got to be the guy, right? He's got to be the guy. You can't rely on your defense every single year. I get it. Defenses have to win games, too. I totally get it. But if you're just like, Brock Purdy's fine, our defense is going to take care of business, and it's got to be on the quarterback. Like, can your quarterback, that quarterback hasn't faced, besides his own adversity with just being a starter in general, he hasn't faced with injuries on his offense. He hasn't faced with his best wide receiver being out. He hasn't faced any adversity with players being out. This offense has dealt with injuries this year, and thank God we're healthy now, 100%. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, I hope the 49ers don't make the bad decision of just, screw Trey Lance. Brock Purdy's the guy. Garoppolo. If Garoppolo, I honestly would be more afraid if Garoppolo played in this game. 100%. 100%. That guy's been to playoff games. That guy has been to big games in his career. You know what I mean? I get it. Ryan Ellis, the super chat. Thank you so much. They say rush for number 1 secondary. Hell yeah, dude. Mr. National, shout out to Rambo 49ers content creator. This is going to be a good battle-tested win for us. Yeah, Rambo is cool, man. I've seen his streams. He's a cool guy. I've run to his streams a lot, actually. One says, hey, Joey, Brock Purdy is basically Case Keenum with the Vikings back in 2017, and they came to Philly and saw that went. Yeah, I wouldn't say he's Case Keenum. No, I think he could be better than Case Keenum. Honestly, I think his decision making is really good. I think he makes quick decisions. I think his vision's good. I think his arm is good. I think there's good things to take away from Brock Purdy, no doubt. But is the stage going to be too big? And from what the Cowboys did to him for, almost 3 quarters, it showed, man. Like, he's got some, gets pressure on him and starts to, he was getting aggravated in that game. I get it. You get pressure on you. You can't get a pass off, it is what it is. Thomas says, everyone who's a fan of San Francisco thinks Purdy is a hero, and they need to realize the ego means nothing in the NFL ordeal. And that's the thing, too. It's like you can't depend, and look, like, you're going to depend on your defense. Like, what if you go into next year and Brock Purdy's your starting quarterback and your defense is not playing well next year, and more pressure is going to be on Brock Purdy to get it done? And if you can't, then the San Francisco made a big mistake. Simple as that. Trey Lance messes up his ankle, and he's not even developed yet. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to give him a chance. They have to be so careful of what they do after this year with Brock Purdy, because it could be their biggest mistake. This move could cost them 3-4 years, like, instantly. No joke. Better hope. Marcus says, if you go back to 19 when the Niners went to the Super Bowl, 2 words, Kyler Murray. The Niners have always, since that year, struggled with mobile dual threat QBs. And that's true, too. That is actually very true. I know I'm doing this. Purdy the boy. He's going to piss his pants. James Bond says, yeah, now you are like your response, but the thing that kills you guys is going to be all the yak your front line, awesome resting cornerback and LB going to stop the yak. But is your quarterback going to be protected enough? Like, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think I give, let me tell you something. Like, I've given the 49ers enough attention this week. I have literally said so many good things about this team. Like, they have a great team. They have a good roster. Like, I'm not saying anything bad about their roster. Like, it's a great roster. So we'll see. Leroy says, Brock, he welcomes pressure. It's about his mechanics. Name one rookie, don't know what he's doing. But I'm saying it's too, yes, but I understand that, but it's too late. Like, it's not like he started the whole entire year. You understand? Like, here's a difference, okay? And I understand this is a veteran and Nick Foles. Nick Foles came in and didn't play a snap all year, had early success, great success throughout the playoffs. He didn't play well the Raiders game. He didn't play well in that Falcons game, in the first divisional game. He didn't play well. The Eagles won because of our defense. The Eagles did enough around him to, and obviously now Nick Foles exploded in the Super Bowl. Obviously he exploded when we got to the NFC Championship game against the Vikings. He exploded when we got to the Super Bowl. It was 1,000 yards of offense from the Patriots and the Eagles that year in that Super Bowl. It was absolutely amazing. I totally get it. But if I was you, I would be happy. But is he going to do this every year? The defense is doing a lot for that offense right now. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Okay? Totally get it. Monsters Purdy has been very solid. I totally agree. They want me to say he's perfect. They want me to say he could take pressure. He can't. He can't take pressure. Simple as that. The one thing I will say is our linebackers aren't great on coverage. I think George Kittle is going to be I think George Kittle is going to do well against us. It really depends. It depends on the pressure. It depends what the Eagles are going to give you. It might not even be TJ Edwards or Kaiser White on Kittle. It might be Chauncey Gardner-Johnson that's really physical in his own being. So I think that would be the perfect matchup, to be honest with you. But it can go either way. I mean, I know you're trying to pick straws. I know you're trying to do as much you can to make your team look better than ours, but I'm sorry, but if this defensive line doesn't eat against Purdy, I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked. And if they don't, if the Eagles lose this game, I will be humble about it. I will say the 49ers played better, they looked better, and that's it. But until then, that's what I'm going to say for now. 7 sacks on Purdy. The floodgates will crumble under the applied pressure. Okay, so Eagles have 70-plus sacks. Only 82, 85 Bears have done it. I expect 6+ sacks from Eagles. Name one rookie that has done it what Brock is unheard of. Nobody's done that. But it doesn't mean anything. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, nobody's done that, but it doesn't mean anything. Like, he hasn't played a whole year of football yet. Number two, going into next year, the blueprint on Purdy, what's his weaknesses? What are teams going to convey on him? You know, that's what's going to be the difference. Like, teams are, I'm going to say it like this. The media has been on their knees for Purdy. The fans have been on their knees for Purdy. Like, look, if I had the last pick of the draft on a quarterback that's playing like this, oh, it'd be great. But I saw a weakness. I saw a weakness in that game, and that was pressure. He cannot do well on pressure. He does not do well on pressure. Simple as that. How much is it going to fluster him? I don't know. You're lucky that Dallas has a choke artist in Dak Prescott. That's all I got to say. Simple as that. You're lucky Dallas is the choke artist they are, because I'm telling you, their main weapon to their offense ended up getting hurt, and Tony Pollard, which Pollard's a big part of that offense regardless. But I'm just saying. Ryan Ellis with the super chat. Thank you so much. What? Charged you $34. That can't be true. Are you from like another country or something? I don't know. I didn't see anything like that. That's weird. No, I think that's wrong, by the way, because I looked. It didn't. I think you made a mistake. Eastside Moose says, Hallie, I'll talk about next year's draft stuff. We are already on the couch. The whole focus should be 49ers, leave the draft next year. No, I don't care. Like, look, the only thing I talk about right now is like coaching changes because obviously the interviews are happening and all that stuff. Like, whenever I talk about the draft, it's because of people asking me about it. Like, that's about it. Ray says he is not first rookie in a conference championship, but would be if he gets to the Super Bowl. Well, yeah. If he beats us, he's in the Super Bowl. That's what I mean. Obviously, if he beats us, he's in the Super Bowl. You mean when he wins the Super Bowl? Johnson, Cincinnati Bengals are going back-to-back Super Bowls. I think they will win against KC. I think they will. And it's not really necessarily. I think Mahomes' injury, his ankle sprain, is going to be a factor because the mobility is not going to be as. His injury is going to get worse over time, guys. Like, simple as that. Like, Mahomes' injury is going to get worse because he's putting pressure on that ankle nonstop. So, Burrow might have an advantage in that game. The defense might have a big advantage in that game. So, Ryan Elson, the super chat. Thank you so much, Mason. It happened on Lord Brunson's channel too. Oh, that's weird. It may just be a glitch. I just looked. It's not charging. It's not charging that. So I think it's just a glitch, to be honest. Kev says what we have to do is sending Brock pressure. Did you see my super chat? Hold on. Sorry. They're not popping up on YouTube for some weird reason. I don't know why. On my phone, it's not popping up. Thank you for the super chat. King says, Joey, what's your prediction? Cincinnati Chiefs. I don't know what the score is going to be of that game, but I feel like it really depends on Mahomes going into that injury in the second game. It really just depends. I think they win. I think it could be 31-21, 31-24. I think it'll still be a close game regardless. I don't think it's going to be a blowout or anything. Mahomes could still, even on one leg, he still could play really well. But sorry about missing that super chat, by the way. I apologize. Let's see here. Going down. Plus, he literally missed half his throws in a week, one game. WSP says, as long as Howie don't draft Pac-12 players, he's going to have a good draft. I think we're okay in that situation now. I think we'll be good. Phil D said, our D-line backups could be starting line for most teams. That's the thing, too. Like, the one thing that should save the 49ers this week is they should be going up-tempo on some series. Going up-tempo is probably going to be the best thing for the 49ers because the Eagles have really good depth. The Eagles have great depth at defensive end and great depth at defensive tackle. Rotating guys, keeping those guys fresh. Brad says Burrow plays well, but he gets all the credit. The Bengals wins against the Chiefs. Cincinnati has good defense, too. They are well coached. This guy looks well. Totally true. Leroy says, your quarterback gets slammed right shoulder by Greenlaw. It's a wrap. Linebacker's going to knee him on the run out of pocket. See, that's a scumbag thing to say, bro. That's like the biggest scumbag thing to say. Like, that's why, like, now you can go F yourself on that because now I don't care. Now you're going to say that this quarterback. Let me tell you something. Hurts ran into. There's nothing wrong with his shoulder, bro. Newsflash for the people that have no idea. His shoulder is perfectly fine. They literally have been amping that shoulder up like it's hurt so bad. Hurts got hit 3-4 times in that game against the Giants. And Hurts is going to fall to the ground regardless. So that shoulder is perfectly fine. So that scumbag statement about his shoulder, yeah, you know what? Cool. Because I hope Brock Purdy has no legs after this damn game, and he probably won't. So we could play like that. Josh has got to tire out the D-line with no huddle. I know what I'm doing. Says, this is South Philly. We don't lose in our house. 31-17. I think it's a little closer than that, but I don't think it's 31-17. I think it says Hurts took a hit already. He's not scared. He took good amount of hits in that Giants game. His shoulder's fine. His shoulder's perfectly fine. Tony says every player is one hit away from injury. Greenlaw been hurt lately too. This is Brock got slammed multiple times against Cowboys. He's not ready. Blaine Cali Green says such shit happens to your QB. I know what I'm doing, so we'll shut off the water too. Splendid 64 says, wow, wishing injury on a player. How low? Yeah, dude. That's what happens. I was being respectful as possible. Now I'm gonna be a scumbag. Now I'm gonna be a total scumbag now. Scumbag mode on. The only time I was like, that's what I always say. I'm like, I hope we take out his. I hope he'll be legless before the game. And I say that as a joke. I said that about Carson Wentz when we faced him week 3, and they had 9 sacks on him. So that's what it is, bro. Jay says, can't let CFC Debo and Mitchell run, fix the run defense, still give up too many yards. I think they did fine last week, but there's obviously more guys you have to prepare for this week. I'm not afraid of that run game. Jay said, Greenlaw is a dirty player. Hell, if they have a 15-yard penalty. Yeah, Quinn was a waste. A little bit. Depends what he does the next game, or if we have another game after that to the Super Bowl. Just depends. But they had Quinn in pass coverage. I don't think they have done anything, really. Not all fans want to see players hurt. Leroy says, you don't lose at your house. First time for everything. Yeah, you're going to see a first time for a lot of things this Sunday. Trust me. Race honestly hurts the toughest QB in the league, including Allen. Connor said Johnson will completely take Bosa out of the game. The God box of the 49ers players played dirty at all. Play versus Pollard. He threw his side of his body and sat his leg on to hurt Pollard. I don't know. Like, that tackle was really weird in that game. I can't even put too much on that. You know what I mean? We got a super chat from Ryan Ellis. So much space. The Niners fans voted for Pelosi. We get one with the super chat. I think it's so much. Purdy is Keenan back in 17 got destroyed by us. Find out. We're gonna find out what Purdy's made of. We're gonna find out what he's made of. We're gonna see. I'm telling you, if Purdy, if any other quarterback, if Garoppolo was playing this game, be a different story. Be a different story. But Purdy's playing in this game. I feel bad. I feel really bad right now. Just hope you show up. Hope he shows up. You better hope our defensive coordinator doesn't play aggressive this game. That's all I got to say. Just as Brock getting the deliberate treatment got a Purdy mouth. Oh, God. Kid Kicks, I have strong feeling it's going to be another blowout, Joey. I thought the coaches was lacking, but after seeing them child play the Giants, I know it'll be another blowout, 38-9. Yeah, look, you're not facing the same team. This is a totally different team with a good roster. So, I'm giving 49ers props on their roster and what they could do with this game. And yet, I say one thing about their quarterback and everybody's got to cry about it. It's the first time Purdy will be in Philadelphia. That is true. Isaiah says, Gann just can't play soft coverage all game. It didn't really do it last game. Connor said, Gann should blitz early. You need to get to Purdy early. That is true. John says, I hear the weather might be bad. Yeah, we'll find out about the weather. Vlad says you're going to be, you're going to blow out a team that's beaten every team that's beaten you. Leroy says Pollard freak was not intentional. Football play. No, I don't think it was intentional at all. I just think the way he tackled him and Pollard's legs were under him, and that's what happened. Like, I don't think it was on purpose at all. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Tackle a guy and ask him first before you tackle him? Make sure your legs are not under you? Like, what is he supposed to do? Carmichael, what's going on, dude? He said, what up, Joey? Hope all is well. Crazy the whole process this season from the offseason coverage to now. It's crazy. Glad I got to be a part of it. Go Birds. Let's finish this shit. Dude, I am thankful for all you guys to be a part of it, man. All year for what we built from the start of this season till now, And we're facing a quarterback in Brock Purdy that actually gets more respect than Jalen Hurts. It's just crazy, bro. It's crazy. Unreal. Ray says, yo, I think that it can intimidate us. Our offensive line will be up for whatever they bring. That is true. Would it be crazy that Dean led the team tackles against the Titans and only play one quarter? That's nuts. Which says, Babe Purdy ain't going to be Purdy after we're done with him. MA Fight says, roster breakdown, QB, running back, 49ers, QB, running back, wide receiver, tight end, Niners, offensive line, Eagles, Niners, QB, Eagles, defensive line, Eagles, linebacker, Eagles, pretty close, 5-4. Ray says, Joey, should Barnett get a ring if we win this chip? Well, you're going to have to give him one. Mike said Purdy's going to get eaten alive at the link, and Jalen Hurts will have a legacy game and finally get him widespread respect. Nah, he won't get respect from that game. He'll get respect when he has a ring on. He won't get respect from that game. He'll get a little bit, but he won't get much as everyone thinks he's going to get. Wicked Wood says, we're trying to give Niners fans respect and props to their whiner fans trying to disrespect those sounding like Dallas. Yeah, they actually are sounding like Dallas fans a little bit. Leroy says, that's the Slade DB from Detroit. Bro, really? You don't know what team Darius Slade plays for? Come on, dude. Like, that's got to be. He's one of the top corners in the league. You don't know what team he plays on? I'm starting to question you now. Kikoa says, the whole team gets the respect due. Jalen Hassan, even BG, all overlooked in the individual awards. Not to mention, I'm sick of hearing we don't deserve to be here each week. Yeah, I totally agree. We got Morgan Holmes. What's going on, dude, with the super chat? Thanks so much, man. He says, you know what they say, on any given Sunday, that goes both ways. The 49ers, that plane ride, going to be real quiet. It's going to be interesting. Going to be interesting, man. We have 362 people in the chat right now. If you guys haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Like the stream if you guys haven't. We'll be covering the Eagles this week every single day. The Philly Shakedown this week. We'll have a couple more streams this week. We might actually have some people on this week. Be really cool to talk about the Eagles and all that great stuff. Some special guests, baby. I've been kind of working out a few things. Check the memberships in the pinned comment for extra content and all the behind-the-scenes stuff as well. Should be interesting enough. Eagles are in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers this week, and we're ready to go. Cannot wait. I appreciate everybody. Make sure to definitely put the likes up on the stream. Let's try to get the stream to 200 likes if we can. I think we're at like 158 right now, so I appreciate it so much. Wedge B says, Joey, imagine Brian Johnson as OC and traded for Kyle Pitts. He's from Philly, and Brian Johnson coached him at Florida. Are they what? They're getting rid of Kyle Pitts. I don't get it. Why would they get rid of Kyle Pitts? Why would that? Brand says Hurts played very well in the big games. He was in Alabama, national championship game against Clemson, the SEC championship game. He's played his best game in Philly, like the Minnesota game. It was a Joey. Do you think Gannon will get the job done? That's the main thing I'm worried about. Yeah, you know what? I think he will. There's always a chance he's going back to his old ways, but because of how important this game is, and because he needs a head coaching job, he is going to go all out. So on Lewis, you can believe they all have better linebackers than the Niners. Your run D is suspect. I don't think it's that suspect as everyone thinks. I think it's gotten better every single week. I got to tell you something, too, about the Philadelphia Eagles defense, okay? Because Niner fans are just going to come in here and they're going to say that because they don't know how this defense has been running the whole entire year, okay? We have 14 wins because of the defense that we have. When we apply pressure in the first half, we get to jump on teams because we score a lot of points in the second quarter mostly. Okay, the first half getting that early jump. Second half, if the Eagles have a big lead, they start to pull back a little bit. And that's why statistically, teams look good against the Eagles in the second half. That's why the run D and probably the statistics for it look not as great because of them pulling back their cornerbacks and whether they're playing nickel, whether they're just moving those cornerbacks 5 to 10 yards off the line. That's how it's been this whole entire year. Niners fans don't know that, but they look at the statistics. They come in here, they start talking, running their jaw, and that's pretty much it. So I don't care. I don't care about the Niner fans this week. I don't care who says what this week about what. I tell you the truth, that's it. Week was it Hurts will get some respect, even if it has a big game. It's going to be all about Mahomes and Burrow and how good they are. Got Bad Monkey saying, "Go Cowboys." What are you doing in here? Mike said, 49ers not beating us at home. The vibe, Jalen has the Eagles on pretty tough, not going to lie. He always says, think about how much we have. All sacrifices be or someone's got to pay. Johnson, Joey, what up? Love the channel and the content. I think this game comes down to how well we tackle because most of what they do is based on yak. And it's true. But Eagles got to tackle well in this game. That's definitely another thing they have to do. So, KK says, as long as Lane Johnson and Hurts stay healthy, we will win. I pray every day Lane Johnson stays healthy. That guy's an animal. Yeah, I do too, man. Playing really well, man. 68. He played 68 out of 70 snaps. It's crazy. William Kelly Green says, Joey, when we beat the ass Sunday, will your new setup be ready for the Super Bowl? I want to get it set up. I want it to be ready by the Super Bowl. Yes, I really do. It probably won't be. I'd say by February it's going to get done. I'd say by mid-February it will be done. But it's already pretty much. I ended up getting the virus a week and a half ago. I was supposed to get my new setup. Like this whole thing's getting ripped out, computer, everything. I have a brand new monster PC that's getting built by somebody. New computer, a huge computer desk, all these lights and all this stuff that I'm changing everything. All this, what you see is going to be different. So not yet, but soon. Let's see here. He does A.J. Brown, God willing, about to eat. DK lit the Niners up 170 yards. Niners weak in the air. They 20th in the league. Yours is 49ers second half team. You can't afford to relax. They're not going to relax. The Giants are a second half team too. They've been a second half team all year, and they had no answer for us. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens, man. But I don't think the Eagles are taking our foot off the gas, not in an important game like this. White piece of Brandon Graham revenge game. Last time we played the Niners towards Achilles, Brandon Brooks was playing his last game. Damn. I was at that game. Was I? I was at that game. That was the opener last year. Yeah. I was at that game when we lost. Horrible. Played horrible that whole game. Wasn't great. A.J. Brown got well. Let's see. Carlton Roberts says, after we win Sunday, then go for it. I'm going to have the NFL acknowledge us Roman Reigns style. Let's talk to the Eagles will also need to tackle well in space. 49ers are first in the NFL in yards after contact, runs, defense, and tackling have been maybe the two biggest concerns for Jonathan Gannon's defense. Totally true. But like I said, it's game to game, man. Some of these statistics aren't going to matter. It's like are the 49ers going to play a great game or are they going to struggle? Like the Eagles could struggle too. Like both teams can struggle in this game. Statistics are thrown out the door at this point. Like whatever team wins, you know? Lewis says, don't look too far ahead. You're talking about Super Bowl. Let's play this game first. Let me tell you something, bro. If you've been around this channel long enough and you have it, I don't look ahead. I never look ahead. Some subscribers, some people that support me probably look ahead, but I don't. I never do. 10 says, Joey, where is that running back picked from the 49ers? Oh, Trey Sermon. No. Jeff says, I love it when you do these late in an emergency department NP, and my schedule sucks most of these live events. Hey, dude. Hey, I'm glad I could help out, man. Glad it helps you out. VP says, hey, Joey, just came off a stressful mission. I'm now ready for some bird talk. Heard AJ could be questionable for Sunday. Any truth to that? Also, get her feeling better. I think they're just going to rest him. He had a little bit of an injury, but I think he's fine. Leroy says, obviously not. Obviously not. I get it. I'm just giving you straight facts. That's all it is. Man, you guys are so, man, God, these Niner fans are like, don't you ever say, oh, we're not the Giants. Like Dude, I was just talking about the Giants to say they're a second half team. It's like, oh, not us. You know, they're standing way tall above us right now. Damn, these guys are trying to bully us around, dude. Savant said, I'm not. If we haven't, it's not we haven't seen you guys before. Last year was no big deal in the stadium. Although both teams are better, we know what y'all do. Yeah, we know what you guys do too. So he said, AJ Brown got willing about to eat DK and the Niners up 170 yards. Niners weak in the air. So he says, so could Quinn make a difference this game under the radar? Nobody talking about him. Interesting. I mean, if they put him in, if they actually attack with him and not put him in pass coverage, which it did work when they did it. I saw the video. I thought Fran Duffy go over some video of him doing that, but we'll see. Well, as we said, Sean Payton could go back. TV sound. He don't get a head coaching job. More opportunity. Get Fangio if Gannon leaves. Yeah, I think there's a big chance. We'll find out. We'll find out next few weeks. Should be interesting. We said let us Trey Sermon for this game. He could be our secret weapon. He should have some info. No, that's stupid. Hedy says all hefty Batman says all of the year the Eagles being mid is nice to see us to be favorites all year and continue to deliver. UWA says, Joey, I'm not going to lie. Do you think Pascal could be legit for us if he has more targets? Ever since that touchdown he had in the Steelers game, I've hoped for him, just wishing he got more targets. Yeah, it just seems like they don't use Quez that much. Like as of late, they haven't really used Quez that much at all. I don't know if Quez is going to have a big opportunity like they've, because Pascal's a really good blocker as a wide receiver. They've been using him, and when he gets his opportunity, he's got very reliable hands. Yeah, maybe. I think they're going to use Pascal a lot in this game because of his blocking. So Brand says Brown looked fine physically against the Giants. He just wanted the ball more. Trey says Quez on kick returns. San Francisco special teams look suspect in that game against the Cowboys. Coach is really enjoying it. It's Philly thing vibe right now. Given 2017 vibes is the underdogs vibe. Give team and players something to connect to the fans and bring more meaning. Yeah, it's a different year. That year it was definitely an underdog year. This year it's not. It's the total opposite of that. It's about this quarterback. It's really about this quarterback at the end of the day. When it comes to this whole team, it's really about this quarterback and if he can get it done. You know what I mean? How far could Jalen Hurts take this team? So Flats, didn't you get blown out last year? We're talking about our game against the 49ers. Who, our game? We didn't play good last year. You cannot talk about the Eagles from last year. The Eagles were a completely different team last year, roster-wise, how the coaches play, how the coaches coached last year. That you can't even take the Eagles. Like anybody talking about the Eagles from 21, it's a joke. It's a total joke. So he says Quez didn't fight for the ball enough. Yeah, that game against the Cowboys I was really pissed off at him for doing that. Leroy, it's two great heavyweights to be a good one, the team that will win the bowl. I believe that. So Leroy, do you think that either the 49ers and Eagles, do you think only the 49ers can win a Super Bowl if they make it against the AFC, or do you think the Eagles and 49ers, whatever team makes it, do you think both of these teams can make it, or do you think it's just your team? Devontae Smith. Last I would rather have happened to get blown out in the playoffs. Sonny says Eagles Castle got last supper. So it says you only need to stop the Purdy hasn't this or that. The dude is a stud if you know football. God, these Niner fans. These Niner fans, I swear. Because he's in the NFC Championship game. Yeah, he's played well. With what's around him, he's played very well. Very, very well. But he hasn't played a whole year of football. He hasn't played beyond a year of football. I'm sorry, but I don't take too much. Look, regardless of what's going on, I don't take too much out of first-year quarterbacks their first year. I don't. If I see Purdy do this for multiple years with that offense, different story. At least going into year 2 or 3, if I see him doing this for another few years, as a fan of the NFL, not even a full year of football, I can't put too much into it, regardless of what game it is. He's in a perfect situation. A perfect situation. And look, they've done I don't know. If you could put Purdy on another team, Could Purdy do well with it being a Cowboys quarterback? Could he deal with just having one number one receiver? Could he deal with, you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. Like he's got everything he needs, man. And if he's protected the whole game, he's great at passing the ball. Does a really good job. I'm giving him props. I mean, I'm giving Purdy props, but when it comes to him getting pressured, that offense is non-existent. It's non-existent. Would Hurts do well like that? Hurts has legs on him, dude. There's more to Jalen Hurts than his arm. He's got legs. Purdy has no legs. Purdy can't scramble. Purdy's not a scrambler. That's why Hurts is so much better in that aspect, because he could bail out his offense. Purdy can't bail out his offense if they're struggling. What if Purdy was dealing with injuries to his offensive line, dealing with his number one receiver going down the whole year? Like that's what I'm saying. Like, what if he dealt with injuries like that? I don't think he'd last. I don't. Purdy and Hurts are totally different. Mentality's different. It's different, bro. It's 100% different. Never compare Jalen Hurts to Brock Purdy, ever. Purdy is impressed because he throws slants and screens to yak players. So it says, does matter if he's on the 49ers. Is that what football is about? Well, it makes a difference. It does make a difference. Put Brock Purdy on a different team. Is he going to play this way on another team? Like it's a huge difference. It is. That's a huge difference. But I'm not going to take 7-8 wins straight and say he's the guy for next year. You guys better hope that Trey Lance isn't developed yet. You better hope that you're just going to get rid of Trey Lance. You're going to get rid of Jimmy G after this year and put Brock Purdy in. You better hope he's the right guy. You better hope he's the right guy. I'm telling you. It's just not enough time. He doesn't have enough games under his belt, bro. Not enough games under his belt. I'm not sold. And these 49er fans are pissed because I'm not sold. I mean, they could care less probably, but they're in here talking about it, trying to change my mind. It's not going to happen. So Justin Hurts has single-handedly won games for us with his legs. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Purdy ain't going to do that. Purdy is never going to do that. Just think about it. This league is turning into, like, there's even like Josh Allen, like that guy runs like crazy, like, and he sacrifices his body like all the time. I know the Bills aren't in the playoffs anymore, but he's another bunch of quarterbacks. We're turning to more mobile guys now in the league. That's what it's turning into. I don't know. Purdy is a great scramble. Y'all have not. Yeah, what did he do against the Cowboys when he had pressure on him? I didn't see one good scramble from him when he had pressure in his face. Playoffs are playoffs, bro. Playoffs are playoffs. I'm not talking about the regular season. I'm talking about your playoff game last week. Those regular season games do not matter. Do not matter. What did Purdy do in that playoff game? Everything on the line. What did he do when he got pressured? He didn't do a damn thing. He threw some bad passes. Simple as that. Winsby said Andrew Berry is GM over there since him and Howie had a good connection. Justice 3 for 8 yards against Cowboys. We says 49ers threw Purdy to the Wolves. Luckily, those Wolves weren't hungry or starving yet. You're not going to change my mind. You're not changing my mind. Don't act like you're going to come in here and you're going to change my mind about it. It's not going to happen. Look, if Purdy rushes for 100 yards and he just dismantles us and just destroys us, I will give him all the respect he deserves because I'm humble about it. But I don't see it. I don't see it. But he also threw every ball he needed to convert. Yeah, but dude, it was between both offenses. I'm not taking his win away. Like, you guys are like trying to reach for straws right now. Like, I'm not giving him not like any disrespect for winning that game against the Cowboys. Like, he the offense started to get going in the third quarter. Like, they didn't get that offense going really until the end of the third quarter, really, with the run game with McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell getting those quick slants. Really, all they were doing was like these little quick slants. And obviously, the big play from Kittle as well was huge that he almost dropped, but it was a great catch. But he won the game. I'm not taking that away from him. I just don't like. I don't think he's going to be a good quarterback. I don't think he's going to last with his skill set like that. I just don't. I don't know what he's going to look like in 2-3 years. I just don't think he's going to do much of anything. That's just me. Purdy didn't even scramble well. He got pressured. Like, I don't know. They're taking games from the regular season don't matter. Like, I'm talking playoff football, everything on the line. What did Purdy do when he was pressured? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Wiggins said, yeah, there's no way Purdy leaves the link with the W. He's going to face a true defense. Look, both defenses are really good, man. I'm not being cautious. I'm not being cocky. I'm not trying to say we're going to step over San Francisco like it's nothing. I'm not saying any of that. Flat says if he ran for 100, I won't be here. So he said, would it be safe to assume Quinn, CJ may be a little better come second week back? Chauncey Gardner played good, man. Chauncey Gardner played fantastic. He played great. Past couple games, I thought the last game against the Giants, he played good, and I thought this game he played against the Giants was good. I thought he played really good. He only runs to extend, not anything else. Like, literally, because these guys have no idea. That one time he got pressured, he ran backwards. He ran to his left, then he backpedaled, he spun and just threw the ball. Like, I'm telling you, man, that it's going to result in picks if he plays like that. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say. Because that was horrible. They won the game regardless, but I'm nitpicking on because apparently he's good at scrambling. I didn't see good scrambling for Brock Purdy at all. 2 picks dropped. Yeah, that's totally true. He had 2 picks dropped. I totally agree. So, it's just what happens, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, we wanted Dallas, to lose that game. You know what I mean? Like, they played a really bad Tampa Bay team that I said to everybody that was a free pass. They were the best of the worst of their division, and they were a horrible team. This is what the Niners were doing. The Niners were overlooking the Cowboys. Like, obviously, it's good. I mean, it makes sense because they're not good. The 49ers were just better regardless. But the Cowboys were overlooking that game to face us in the NFC Championship game, and the Niners were already getting ready for Philadelphia, as far as I know. You know what I mean? Zaya says Purdy thought he was Mahomes last game trying to extend too much. I agree. David says not only CG good, his presence results in better play from Slay and Bradbury. I think that's true too. She has a max plays. We're finally 100%. Watch out. In fact, said they may fix the game to promote Brock Purdy story. You heard it here first. Yeah, they always do that. They always do it. Oh, last pick of the draft. Oh my God, look what he did from this game to this. And then they lose, and then he won't be talked about the rest of this year. DYT said this game is going to be a dogfight. Iron sharpens iron. Isaiah says we should draft pass rusher to replace Quinn Barnett. I definitely think they need another defensive end. There's no doubt. Ray said we're counting on Jalen to win the game for us, but the 49ers are in trouble if they counting on Purdy to win the game for them. Yeah, that defense will win the game for them. If anything, Purdy is not going to win the game for them. That is 100% truth. That defense overtakes everything that the 49ers do. Purdy ain't Hurts. Running is not a top QB trait now. I love Hurts and Bam crew. I'm a Bama fan, but 2 high safeties will always mess with Jalen. Leroy says Shanahan drawing up plays that's not in the playbook on the sideline. Halftime pass to kill down the middle was off script. Yeah, it probably was. Probably was. It was a good play. It was a really good play. Thank God he caught that ball. I was trust me, I was celebrating. I was definitely celebrating. I hate the Cowboys. Coach says, no matter who wins this week, NFC team will be win the Super Bowl, in my opinion. Both AFC teams have mid-defense and holes in the offense. Like I said, this game is going to come down to coaching. That's the only thing that concerns me. True. She says Eagles D-line rotation might be a difference maker. Yeah, it might be. Dan Quinn had Kyle on the ropes. David says Diggs could have taken that away. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know. I mean, sometimes guys just drop easy picks. Simple as that. Just like what's his face? I think it was what Kinlaw. I forgot who dropped that pick. I think that would have been a pick 6 if he caught the damn ball. This is listen, Niner fans. Joey is not saying Purdy is terrible. He is just saying that he isn't good with pressure. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That comment by ZYTX is the reason. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying on pressure, he's not good. That's all. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be. I'm not even saying, look, he got into a really good situation. Purdy's been playing good, got weapons all around him. He's benefited off of that defense. There's no doubt. He has stuck in there. He has done what he had to do. But when it comes down to it, man, the pressure is where I saw the weakness in that Cowboys game because the Niners haven't faced a good defense all year. That is the truth. But I'd say he's a good coach. That's why. Jeff said Kittle caught was actually an illegal man downfield. Look at the tape. Ray said, I think the Niners hope we let him run the ball so they don't have to rely on Purdy. I'm riding with Philly if y'all win, but I don't think y'all win. Hell, hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Derek said if we get on early. And to be honest with you, if we lose this game and San Francisco goes to the Super Bowl and they face Mahomes or Burrow, I'm rooting for San Francisco to win it all, regardless. So Derek said, if we can get up on them early, I don't think Purdy can lead them back. Yeah, that's going to be the difference maker. Can the Eagles get the first jump in points? Okay, that's going to be the difference maker. Put more pressure on Purdy in the second half. Now he's going to overlook Dallas. We knew it was at stake. Dallas improved from up front from last season. Dan Quinn, Shanahan, boss from Atlanta. He knows him. No, I'm saying the fans did. I'm not saying the team did. I'm saying the fans, the fan base. Philadelphia Eagles fan 2 said, Joey, do you think we should play Trey Sermon in some vert? No. I don't know why we get this question every single 2 seconds. And the NFL week schedule talk is for the birds. We both had the 2 weekest schedules in the league. Well, it's going to be a big dogfight. What's going on, Loyal? Ray says 60 minutes early and late. ZY says, obviously, Purdy. You're good, Ray. ZY said, obviously, Purdy is good because it's really hard to make it where our teams, it's always a fight. And look, even take the Seattle game versus the 49ers. They couldn't get pressure on him at all. There was a couple times he ran out of the pocket and made some passes, but when there's no pressure on Purdy, he makes perfect throws. Perfect throws. He's got the arm. He's got the quick decision making. But when I saw I saw that Seattle game and looked at that Cowboy game, obviously Seattle and the Cowboys, two different defenses, there's no doubt. I saw a difference in that game. Cindy says, have Niners played in the cold lately? I don't think so. I'm not sure. Could not tell you. But let's see here. About 1 o'clock in the morning right now. 337 in the chat. I appreciate it so much for everybody joining the stream. I will be live streaming the NFC Championship game this Sunday. Should be a lot of fun. If you guys haven't subscribe to the channel. Like the stream if you guys have it. Win or loss, I will be here to either be mad or be very happy, regardless. We will have a couple streams this week. I'm probably going to end the stream right now because it's already been over 2 hours. Because trust me, I could probably talk about this for over 4 or 5 hours. We'll have 2 more streams this week. We'll have the Philly Shakedown this week. We'll have a lot of good things happening this week. Make sure you like the stream if you guys haven't. Try to get the stream to 200 likes if we can. It's at 185 right now. If you guys hit the like button, I do appreciate it. I appreciate all the Niners fans with their hot takes in this game. And all the people that super chatted and all that great stuff. I thank you so much. And all the people that have been supporting the videos, liking the videos and all that stuff has been, I don't take it for granted at all. I appreciate the support because this channel would be nothing without you guys. So, yeah, we'll be back. I don't know, tomorrow. I would say probably Thursday. We'll have another Thursday night. We'll have another late stream Thursday. And we'll get this thing rolling. We'll have another talk about this game. Obviously, we'll have a video on tomorrow, out tomorrow, about the Niners. Probably a little bit more about the Niners tomorrow and all that stuff. So, other than that, that's pretty much it. So, make sure you like the stream and obviously subscribe. And we'll see you guys later. You guys have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on the next one. Shake Squad up, follow, slide. Peace out, guys. Peace. Thank you guys for showing up. Appreciate it on the late night. Thank you guys. Peace out.